Futures pointing to a relatively flat open coming up this morning as we digest the latest batch of earnings news out this morning and aftermarket yesterday, with Netflix leading the way. Obviously, Netflix reported aftermarket yesterday. We are, in positive territory here, but overall, a bit of a ho-hum kind of report for Netflix. We'll talk about Netflix in depth coming up here. United Airlines also with a positive report. They are trading higher after lower than expected loss, or smaller than expected loss for United. They were also talking quite positively about the rest of this year and going forward into next year as well. We got Verizon this morning, better than expected numbers for Verizon. We'll also get IBM, Tesla, LVS as well coming up after market tonight. Overall, the market coming off another positive showing yesterday. S&P 500 about 0.75%. We had the NASDAQ up 0.71. The Dow about 0.5%. So positive numbers across the board. Bitcoin on watch as well, obviously, the all-time high watch. We came within $400 overnight of all-time highs on Bitcoin, so we'll have a look at that. It's Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. tradertv.live starts now. Yeah, there we go. Basically, flat right across the board. NASDAQ 0.13, trying to lead back into positive territory. S&P exactly flat at this point. Same story for the Dow. We are seeing a bit of a pullback in crude. Remember, fresh 7-year high yesterday once again for crude oil prices. So down 1%. Bitcoin, little change so far today, but yeah, big move overnight up towards that all-time high level. Following along is Ethereum, 2.5%. Into positive territory this morning as well. Yeah, all-time high watch on board today for Bitcoin, guys. Good morning. Interesting morning kind of setting up here. I mean, Netflix was, we'll talk about Netflix obviously coming up, but the market exactly flat right now.
That's one way to put it. If Netflix is I don't know what you make Novavax. Like, I don't know. I guess I just throw up on my keyboard, I suppose. But Alibaba we're going to be talking about as well because, hey, man, it's back above 180. So yeah. The last pop it made was to 180, and I don't think anybody got up this whole net for the long term, and it's got some momentum behind it here to talk about the cloud. Look, the only to go back to Bitcoin, by the way, the only reason that we haven't broken the all-time high is because Lucas keeps unloading his position in front of 64,000. Otherwise, we would have broken out. So, congratulations to all the crypto holders out there. It should be a good hump day, like you said, because we got the Netflix earnings here. Yep. But I think just as many people, if not more people, are excited to see what happens with Tesla tonight. They report like a gazillion minutes after the bell tonight.
Yeah, we'll see. Sometimes it's been like 5:30. I mean, you got to wait. Prad was talking about it happens right after the bell, but it doesn't. Okay, so Bitcoin right here, 65,000. I mean, that's that level that Neil just talked about there. Keeps bumping its head up here, 64.5, and we'll just see if it takes it out. I think it does today, and we go higher from here. So I don't know. I did buy some more Cardano, so we'll see where that's going. It's not doing too much. It's still sitting at $2.15. So we'll see where that goes. I put a video out last night, just a quick one, just for 10 seconds on Twitter about Netflix being a ho-hum report there, kind of as we expected. The only thing is we're right bouncing our heads off here, and it's on the sticky note, this 620 level. I like that 620 level. So we'll see if we can fade back in here coming into the open, down to 620-ish. We'll see where it goes, but that's a level that I'm looking to defend there on Netflix, as everything seemed to be okay. It's just it wasn't a blowout quarter like everybody thought off that Squid Game, but we talked about that and that was probably going to be disappointing. I thought we could go down to the low side even more than this, but we're going to look to pick up some 620s here on Netflix, but lots of names moving, Brendan.
Yeah, definitely Novavax trying here. Some volume coming back in. Not good news for NVAX today. We'll talk about that in a second here. Before we go any further, though, let's get over and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning, team. We are glad you're with us because it's going to be a very busy and interesting day. Please enjoy your trading and please smash the like button. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed, guys, get it started here. Lots to discuss as we head towards the open. Yeah, they found Jack Ma in Europe yesterday, and that seemed to be a little bit of a positive story for Alibaba. 7% on the session yesterday. We're back in positive territory. today as well for Alibaba. I had that, oh, there it is. I wanted to show this nice picture, guys, because Jack Ma is road tripping through Europe, I guess, and I don't know, The Guardian seems to think that's a big deal.
I suppose.
Oh, The Guardian? Oh.
Like, we should just be happy that we're
New
talking
York
about
Post
positive.
thinks it's a good deal as well. Big deal.
The Post? Which one's better, the Post or the Guardian?
I have no idea. I've never read either one, so I'm not.
I've seen headlines from the Post. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to get into it because like we could talk about they always have those interesting, I guess, front page pictures. But
Yeah.
we're just happy to be talking positively about Alibaba, and let's get away from Jack Ma's sighting and get more into the cloud. They're making investments into their cloud growth, which right now is less than 10% of their business, but they're taking aim at the big boys, Microsoft and Amazon. Well, I mean, not necessarily to dethrone them, but to grow that space. And that's going to be a good growth area for them, ultimately. Like, it's with what's going on with the CCP and regulation, you do have to wonder where the further growth will be on their e-commerce side, and that's a part that can be dragged down. So I love the fact that they're making these pushes. I further love what we're seeing on the chart here because, I mean, Alibaba broke that 50 period, consolidated higher, broke out. Now we're past that 180 mark. There's pretty much air here. I think some people in the chat were saying till 200. Yeah, that's about right. But even then, like, you know, it rounded out 200 to 205. The 200 period now sort of within sight, although I guess that's still, you know, a good, you know, $30 away here. But either way, starting to look pretty solid for Alibaba. I just want to see it hold up a higher low at 175 for the end of the week, and that'll be a good sign for it. The first test is going to be maybe that 180 being tested on a dip buy at the open because it's already starting to come off a little bit here in the pre-market. There was a little bit of a pullback after it broke out, so might have to retest that 180 mark, but I think that'll be a good place for the day trade, at least today. It's just been a fantastic run here for Alibaba because everyone's seen the daily chart, right? Like, it was headline after headline. You know, every bounce was sold off almost immediately, and this has been going on for, you know, months and months and months. And you finally are at the point now where you're not talking about that. You're talking about the actual company. What are they doing? Where is growth going to be coming from? And apparently where Jack Ma is, I guess, too.
Yeah, I mean, I've loved Alibaba for a very, very long time. So thank God it's coming back to the upside here. We'll see where it has to go, but I mean, Alibaba, big win if you bought the bottoms. I mean, another name here, JD as well. I mean, forget about the move that Alibaba's had. I mean, JD's bottom was $61. It's now up to 85. So, you know, that's almost 50%. I mean, it's similar to Alibaba, but I think JD is a little more aggressive to the upside here. So you may get more aggressive, you know, to the upside continuing. So 106, 107. It wasn't beat down as much as Alibaba, but it was pretty close, man. Like 110 down to 670, 60. So, you know, cut in half. Alibaba's was almost the same, 330 down to like, what, 140? So even more than in half Alibaba. So, but there goes JD to that bottom. And then we keep saying the same thing over and over again here. But if you just didn't want any specific exposure, I've been saying this since about $38. So $38, now you get, you know, 5 on that, or like 4 on that. So you get about 10% move upside here on FXI. So, you know, we talked about this down here for sure, $37, $38, talking about picking some up on these wicks. So that was a good trade there, all the way up to 42. So you're getting your 10, 15% on that name as well, and not having the company specific exposure. But it's really nice to see. I mean, you know, this economy needs to be strong here in Canada and the US, and obviously in China as well. So hopefully with more trade talks and, you know, just more niceness, you know, basically coming from the diplomatic side of things. I hope that the Chinese names can rally from here. And you also have NIO going to the upside as well. We'll see how that reflects Tesla. So, yeah, there's lots of stuff happening. And congratulations, anybody. I know Shakib, but I know there's a few other people out there on our chat that have bought some of these Chinese names at the bottom. So good look. And you know, they may be a little bit overdone to the upside right now just because of how much they've gone up here, but just recently. But, you know, I wouldn't say sell them at this point because there is so much more room to go.
Just checking on this. Radius Health, RDUS, just popping up here. Positive breast cancer trial results for a treatment that they're working on for RDUS. If anyone saw that one, just fly by. Let's talk about Vinco Ventures because a bit of a repositioning, according to this article anyways, of the management team. Some of the headlines today were a little misleading, I feel, because all you saw was the CEO resigned, the CFO resigned, and that was about it. But if you dig into it a little bit further, you can see The CEO has also agreed to a 3-year deal to serve as a strategic advisor to this company, Zash, which is the parent company. And then the CFO will assume the CFO title of Cryptide when that deal goes through. I saw a couple people talking about that merger possibly being delayed ever so slightly toward the end of the year this year. But I don't think this is as bad as it would appear, guys.
No, it doesn't seem as bad as it would appear. I mean, I took a long breakout at 670, and just one brief thing, because Nick W, I want to get to your super chat here about ATER very briefly, because you're saying ATER for a long, looking at that 1190 area. I know 1190 on ATER, that's a ways away here. I know, because we double topped it and shorted that one the second time it got there, but we're off $9. Bottom end of the range here is $9 on ATER, so you're trying to hold that lower high. So I guess what you're probably asking is a break of the high here, like a 930, I suppose, with like a 9 or like an 865 stop, and then you're wanting to swing it into 12 even. On the chart, it looks pretty solid, but I haven't double checked to see if there's any news in the last couple of days. I know there was volume on ATR yesterday. I feel like that was just related to some of those meme names that were going, but just based on the chart, that actually is somewhat of a sound premise, although it looks to me like you probably find resistance at 1050 before that even happens. On to BBIG. Yeah, you're right about that being a little bit misleading there on Vinco Ventures, and it was down pretty significantly coming into this. A couple of things that made it, I'll say dead cat bounce, but it's not really. Made it bounce a little bit here today is you had price acceptance around 6, you had the 50 period just in front of 6 even, and then you go to the 15 minute, and you can see this is actually bouncing on a higher low in front of that $6, right? So that was a pullback that took you to $9 and support off of 6. You're putting in a higher low at 630. It then gave you a consolidation. I'll pop back over to the 1 minute here. Gave you a consolidation and a double top at 670, which then broke. It's on the way to about $7 as we speak. I took some out at 680 here, but do feel, just sort of looking at how weak this was yesterday. I mean, this bottom in yesterday's action was about 750. When I was looking at my 15 minute, I said certainly some out in front of 720, and then 750 is going to make some sense to me. But yeah, this is more along the lines of it's not as bad as it seems, that headline, and it gapped down a lot, and it gapped into support and above that support level. So the fact that it held above support and then set up for a nice little breakout trade with a double top, that's why we took it.
Yeah, I got to get long back to 650 on BBIG. I mean, it's down 12%. Probably gives us that pullback in the VWAP. So that's what we're going to wait for that. Otherwise, I mean, it's there's not much here on the daily chart. You have $9 as a top. I don't know if I don't really see any catalyst for it to be going up today, other than the fact that there's been 4 million shares, and we know that there's going to be a lot of retail interest in this name, like there always is. We were just at $5 5 days ago, right? And so, well, a little bit more than that, but we based down there at 5, and then you have the 50-period moving average at 620. So, yeah, any sort of love back downside for Vinco Ventures, I think. You're looking at that, and there's that $6 bounce off the last couple of days. So, anything in here probably gets supported, and then, if it does break that 6, then you probably go to 560, 550 or so. So I'm waiting to get long Vinco Ventures. I think you're right, Brendan. This is probably a long today. So it's pick your poison and then decide how much risk you want to put into it.
Let's go to the other end of the spectrum here. Talk about Apple a little bit, guys. Big couple of days for Apple off of the Unleashed event. This data analytics firm's TrendForce coming out this morning suggesting their AirPods 3 deliveries could hit 85 million in 2022, up 3.7% year over year. That's obviously just numbers at this point, as they haven't even been put onto the market yet, just announced the other day. But another day, I mean, Apple's kind of flat here in the pre-market, but pretty impressive couple of days here for Apple.
Look. Apple, so I always feel like, we're trying to find stories about Apple because, when it goes down, everyone's wondering why. I already wrote down when it was at 138, 139, I said that story by UBS there that there was going to be supply issues is basically a joke. So who cares if they have supply issues? The demand, obviously, right there stated by Brendan one more time for their AirPods, for everything, is through the roof. People can't get enough Apple products. You build high quality products that work, people stick with you, and that's exactly what Apple's done. And the patronage is huge. Do you know that $19 cloth is sold out? So I mean, this is part of the thing with Apple, right? It doesn't matter what they make. So I heard Brad talking about this. They made a $19 cloth to clean your phones and your watches and all that stuff. Sold out, okay? So I don't know what the margin on that is, what, $18.50, something like that? So, I mean, it's a monster get for them. Not just the cloth. I'm just talking about, you know, how people will support this company. And I mean, it was a monster buy down here at 138, 139. This is the day of that story. And it was right on the sticky note, go long. We've been going long every day on Apple, and now it's back above the 50-period moving average. And the thing about Apple is, too, it's involved with every single index. So the S&P right now is, what, points away from all-time highs? So, yeah, Apple's going to get right back into it. We did sell some at 152. We put our money to work in other spots, which I think have been much more profitable than buying Apple at these dips. But Apple will go as the market goes. So it's kind of like a proxy against the market. Plus, like I said, they actually have products. They make a lot of money, and they're not going to stop. And they're making more and more money. I mean, Ted Lasso, Apple TV, the watches, the new AirPods. It's unbelievable, you know, how much support, you know, the market has for Apple. We know the U.S. is a retail economy, and they want to buy everything they can. Same thing here in Canada, Europe. You know, a lot of the big nations, they can't get enough of Apple. And there it goes, man. The MacBook's going to get bought like hotcakes. So, hey, I don't know. I'm forever long Apple, and I will never ever sell a share again.
Yeah, it's just I don't know how you bet against them. The other thing you have to consider about Apple, because at the end of the day, we'll be talking about Netflix, and we'll be talking about their U.S. and Canadian subscriber numbers, which the growth was actually incredibly disappointing for them. And the truth of the matter is, all of their competitors, with the exception of Disney, just probably don't care that much. Like, it doesn't matter if Apple TV does well. I think we all know that. It's getting you into the ecosystem, and that's all that really matters. I mean, for me, who doesn't even have anything, I got Apple, and maybe they'll suck me into the ecosystem with Apple TV, and that's the simple truth. It is the fact that, you know, they've got you. They basically got you everywhere, and then once you're there, very few people are going to end up leaving. From a technical standpoint, you know, like it sets up today. Like you could have a bit of a pullback just because that 149, and you're looking at the high, and just also looking at the highs in the NASDAQ and the ES, and if they turn into resistance, I mean, Apple's gonna pull back off of that and probably stop at the 50 period or something along those lines. But I just feel like there's gonna be, as a day trade, there's gonna be more exciting stocks because this one's just gonna absolutely follow the market here. It's probably only a matter of time till we're all-time highs. I personally do think supply issues absolutely matter in the regard that they're gonna affect numbers and they're going to affect earnings. And my comment to that day was, well, you can tell whether or not it's priced in when Apple, for the first time, relays their concerns and it made a bottom, right? So that's what you want to look for. It's the market's reaction to further bad news when it comes to the supply chain. The market's reaction to when we have positive news when it comes to supply chain issues. The California ports went 24/7. That's been fantastic for the markets, right? Apple halted production or sold production, and they went up on that day. That's another reason to be positive. It's all about the market at the end of the day is going to tell you the story as opposed to trying to predict it. So sometimes you just follow that crowd.
A couple things to be aware of here on Novavax. NVAX down significantly, obviously, in the pre-market here on the watch list, but we can discuss here a little bit, guys, because a couple other things just came out. This was the initial report, Politico, late yesterday, in fact, reporting that the method they use to test the purity of this COVID-19 vaccine has fallen short of U.S. regulator standards. So there's that. But then this just came out. They're also still saying that they're going to file for EUA for said vaccine before the end of 2021, guys. So what do we make of this?
When I read that Politico article, it doesn't sound very good. Like, you're supposed to have 90% purity in your production, and there's apparently, according to Insight or whatever, they're struggling to get 70%. I mean, like, that's not good. I mean, look, I'm not a scientist or anything, obviously. But, you know, I know not good when I see it, and I can see down 23%. Now, it did feel at one point like this was going to be that dead cat bounce, because you went right into this level on the daily at 117, and then we're putting in a bit of a turn, and I'm like, you know, like actually more like 116, and then putting in a bit of a turn, and then there was a headline saying that they're confident in or it was a tweet saying they're confident in their process, and that took it from 120 into 130. And I just said to myself, okay, well, I don't know how you buy the dead cat bounce up at these levels when you're 10% away from your support, and then you're up at this 132 double top. That didn't make any sense to me. If it pops down here to 116 and can bounce off that level, it's there on the daily chart. So risk to reward, it's probably going to be a bit of a setup. But if we get back to that 132 level, I'll probably take a shot at it one time to the short side. I like 140 as well, but that's just gotten too far away. When we're up at 130, I thought that was going to come into play. Now I'm going to be looking at the open for a 132 rollover or just simply a bounce off 116. Let the market dictate. It's either holds the support that it's already put in, holds the resistance that it's already put in. And I'm not going to sit here trying to guess it. It sounds terrible, but the stock is cut in half already and then some.
We talked yesterday about buying some Pfizer at $41, and now it's $42.20. So that was a good buy yesterday. You could have got it, I guess, $41.30, $41.50 or so. I think Pfizer is on its way back up as well. Just talking COVID names here. Moderna $340. You know, that's going to be a key level. We've talked about these levels over and over again, including $350. I mean, how many times is that basically going to be a top right here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, so Moderna right now, I think, is getting primed to get, you know, test again some downsides here. So there is, you know, something to look at here on that side. Although, you know, right now it's very headline dependent because you have even here in Canada right now, I think it was, I don't think Moderna filed for 5 to 11, but I know Pfizer did, and I know that's also happening in the US right now, although the FDA is obviously getting involved just like here in Canada. So there's going to be some news coming out about some of these booster shots and also, you know, the vaccine for children, whether or not that's going to be safe or not. So you got to watch out for some of those. But again, I just feel like that bounce off Moderna at 300 up to 350 was great. And I think profit taking, and then Moderna starts to go to the downside here a little bit. So yeah, NVAX, obviously the name with the volume, and that's the one you want to be looking at. But I really do think that Pfizer gets bought on any dips and Moderna sort of gets sold on any rips.
All right, big names, guys, to talk about here on this board this morning on the upgrade side. Ford, Microsoft, Netflix, all to the upside so far. Rite Aid on here as well. It's worth noting this First Solar, we put First Solar on there, but that article actually named the entire solar group in that downgrade. So heads up on those in the red so far. And then you see, speaking of some earnings from this week, P&G, guys.
Yeah, the solar group had been, I don't know, was up nicely yesterday. So I guess, you know, you get the downgrade after the little pop there. So I'm guessing Guggenheim, you know, people getting out a little bit early, I guess is the name of the story here. We can talk about Netflix. I know we're going to already talk a little bit about Netflix catching that upgrade. And I think a lot of times, you know, you have a bit of a disappointment and it doesn't really fall as much as people expect, and then that gives you the impetus to give them the price target upgrade. I didn't catch the I caught the upgrade. I didn't actually catch the price. I'll have to double check that one, but I just think Netflix has some obvious support levels down here. We'll probably talk a little bit more in depth about them as we get into that segment, but it has some interesting support levels were it to break this 620, and it has, you know, it was a FANG name that was breaking out to all-time high, so it is interesting to catch an upgrade there. Another positive sign there that you're going to be able to get. But heck, we're probably going to talk about this one in depth. Haven't traded Netflix on this show, I think, even once personally, and today might be the first day. I'm pretty sure I haven't.
I've traded Netflix a little bit, but it is obviously on earnings days and things where it makes any sense. But on that list there, of course, Ford. Yeah, we're cooking up profits on Ford. We'll see where that goes today. A couple upgrades there. So, you know, we're really happy with that spot. We'll talk about Ford when it goes, but we are also, man, we're firing off some hot dogs because Microsoft's at 310. Like, how crazy is that, man? Microsoft's just been on an absolute amazing run. Even just the last 5 days, 294 up to 310. Man, this is again the second largest holding in my portfolio. Absolutely love Microsoft here. Their Azure is going to be absolutely huge. That's going to knock the socks off of everything. So you're gonna, I mean, people are already ahead of their quarter. So I don't know if you could buy Microsoft here if you're not in. I think you could always start a position any day on Microsoft, but again, a big time movement. We've already taken out the top. The strong just keeps getting stronger, and Azure's going to be an absolute monster, battling with AWS, battling with Google Cloud, and Microsoft is going to have some huge announcements coming. It's an unbelievable run up here. So I love that stock. I can't say enough about it. Any dips. Remember we talked about the first week in October, and I was like, if you're going to buy anything, buy Microsoft at that time, right? I mean, it hasn't gone up the most, so it's not like it's been the greatest call ever. It's just if you want something really solid, hard to stay away from Microsoft, even much more so than Apple. I mean, like we said, Apple on the year is like up 7, 8, 9, 10%. It's not that much, right? Microsoft just in the last week or so is up that 5 or 6%. So here's Ford. Ford top heavy again, right? So again, sorry about all these wicks. There's nothing we can do about them. But you know, I mean, I could edit all of them out and then do it every single day, which would be ridiculous. But this 16 high there, I think that needs to get tested one more time, and then we get that break. But for right now, I don't think we buy anymore at 1550 here. It's come off a little bit. It had that move last time that we thought was too extended from the 50-period moving average. You see it's been hovering around it. Then you get a break. Now we have this break right here at 1330. That's the last time we put money into this name, but it's in the long-term account. I love what Ford's going to do here in the EV space with Tesla coming tonight. If they blow it out, you could see Ford again. Remember, Rivian is there as well. So there's lots happening with Ford. I really enjoy trading this name. It's just it has to hit up some levels. So again, back down to 15 would be pretty sweet. I don't know if we get that today though, unless the market collapses. But right now it's flat, so I don't think there's anything there. But we'll probably test Ford here at 1530 and then defend it all the way down to 15. So let's put some bids right now, 1530-ish on Ford. See if we get lucky and pick up what Prad was calling yesterday a stink bid. So we'll put a low bid.
I love it.
Yeah, stink bid. We'll put a low stink bid there. Shout out to Prad, and we'll see if we get filled.
I missed that. That's a good one. I like that. Speaking of the automotive space, the EV space, one that's been mentioned in the EV realm of things the past little while. Magna, guys, some Canadian content here. Down on a sales forecast cut this morning for MG. So we're opening down here in Toronto, but 4.3% for Magna. Possibly an opportunity?
Okay. I thought, so I was looking at Magna because I bought this one, and when you said I bought it, it was sub 100 or like around $100. So in Toronto, of course. So here today, Toronto, you're going to see down to 98 and change. It's been a nice little run up to 102.50 there, but on this deal, you're going to come all the way back down into here. So it's not going to be good for them. It's what, MGA, isn't it? No, it's it's still MG in New York. Okay, so I thought Magna was one of the. No, it's what is it? It's MG.
It's not.
It's MGA, I thought it was.
It is MGA. It is MGA.
There it is, MGA. Okay, that makes sense.
Confused me for a second.
Yeah, I was like, okay, is that on NASDAQ in New York? But yeah, I knew it was different on one of them. But yeah, not good news here, man. I mean, this is going to be, again, another play on the EV space there. And this is a big hit. I mean, you don't get these moves normally at 4% down. So what's up to Sam? I think you're invested in this too. I don't know if Goldman, there he is, MGA, yeah. Of course, I knew Sam. I mean, I knew he would know the symbol right there. But Magna, again, it's right back to the 50 period. And again, you know, we're long around here. I'm going to double check the price. Maybe you even remember, Sam, when I tweeted that out that we were buying some Magna. I think they have deals with a lot of these companies, so supplying parts and things like that. So I do have to read that story again because this actually caught me off guard. I wasn't even looking at Magna this morning, but down to this 50 period, we were just at 72 with a monster run up here in the last. See, this is what I mean. Like, forget about Microsoft or Apple. I mean, like, you can find little industrial names like this. $72 there, you know, late September, all the way up to 86. Like, you know, that's a 20% move right there just in 2 weeks. So yeah, it's pulling back on this news. Obviously not a good sign. We've only done 40,000 shares. So I have to sort of apologize, and just looking at the level 2, it doesn't look like there's too much going on. 40,000 shares isn't bad, but it dipped down to 79. I'm buying this thing on any weakness. So I guess we got to get back down into here, 74, 75, and then about 95, 96 in Toronto. So I like Magna, and if to get some exposures to some industrials, I like it, but I apologize. I don't even really recall what that story is, and Brendan just said it 30 seconds ago.
Like, I just want to see the reaction here. Like, you're going to cut, like, if you're going to cut outlook for supply, you're going to cite supply chain, and you're going to be citing, you know, I guess all these same disruptions. I want to see how the stock responds today, right? Like, it's not quite even to the most recent support, but it is at that 50 period. If it manages to close above that, fantastic sign, right? You're going to get that dip. Let's see how it closes today, settle out in the next couple of days. And if you're above 80, I think you can buy it without having to wait. My wife's going to be mad because
I'm selling it.
I suggested this one to her right around the same time.
Your wife invests a lot, I noticed. My wife just buys Roblox.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing, but that's interesting. I didn't know she actually.
She had Danaher before I did.
Is in all that. I didn't
although I'm in Danaher now, and anyways, we can get on to this.
You're in Danaher now. Let's talk about that one.
I like the healthcare space.
DHR, right?
DHR, Danaher.
So what was the price there? Because right now
We're back above 300.
Yeah, it's nice.
So I managed to catch it in the 290s in the dip. But if you look at the daily, so our daily chart's a bit of a problem. You're going to see it. You're going to see that our daily chart on Danaher is almost as bad as our daily charts on the banks, and we try to show it to you guys. And you know what? Fine. You guys are going to see it.
I just, you can't. You have to zoom in.
There's like a $1,500 print or something up here that you have to get rid of every single time. But this stock had dipped 10%, and it was an unbelievable runner, like 200 to 300 in change or so. And they don't, for a healthcare name, they don't really pay a dividend. So it's a little bit different from some of the others that we usually invest in, but it's more of a growth kind of play there. But that Magna, we'll have to react to the story a little bit later on. But I wanted to, before we get too far into this, I know we have to get to Arun. There was a fantastic point made in the chat. Someone mentioned and was asking specifically about Peloton at $90. And the second I pulled it up, because I haven't looked at Peloton in a while, as you said, like, remember all those stocks you just saw, Sean, that had that dip, held the recent support from May, and have been running back to their 50 periods? Well, Peloton holding the dip, not necessarily breaking out in a cluster, and then this is your 15-minute right at that $90 range. So does that look good for a breakout at 90 with the market at highs? Sure, it looks good, but there's no volume today. So there's no catalyst for it. There's no volume, although it does set up really, really nicely on the chart. That's why it wouldn't necessarily catch our attention, but you know, it's got mine if it wants to try to break that. And if it breaks it anyways, maybe you can be bottom in a dip and play the momentum after volume comes in. But that's the kind of thing that you got to look out for, right? Like some of these charts where they're basing out, and then as they start to go, well, this is one that's kind of showing you it has a chance to go. I'm not sure what the catalyst is for it, but it is up 2% today already.
I just want to say one thing. I'm going to sell Magna because honestly, it's not good. Lowered full year guidance. I mean, I know Brandon already talked about this, but I didn't really see the story. 36 billion from 38 billion. That's horrible. EBITDA margin 5% from 7%. No. I will be out. So there you go, Goldman. I'm going to be out probably half or so of my position on Magna. I just checked. I'm long in the Toronto side of it, 101.50. I literally just checked. So if I can get out here and you know, take a 2% haircut on that one, I will do it. And then you know what I'm going to buy? BTCC. I'm going to buy some Bitcoin up at this level, and or you know what else is interesting to me actually, because if I sell something in Canada, obviously I'm going to shout out the Neo Exchange right now. So someone should clip this and send them to them because you know what? Yeah, what's up, Joss? I'm going to what's up, CIBC Wealth Management. I also do think that buying something, if you do have Canadian funds, there are these CDRs, I guess, is what they're called. So where you can invest in U.S. companies at a quarter or a fraction of the price, but in Canadian dollars. So they do have Amazon. There's a whole bunch of them.
They have all the things now, and they've added like a dozen names. So it's great for us.
Yeah, so that might be something there if you want to get some exposure. Like you no longer need to be sitting in Canadian names. Although NVI, you guys know Nuvea there, Corp. This is a name that I bought at 40 or 50 bucks, and this has just been it's like a pay safe of Canada. But I mean they're international. You see this one's just been ripping upside. Hoping this can happen to PaySafe as well. But Sam, you know about that because we've been talking about Canadian stocks all the time. But this has been a monster here. We did sell some of this when I was on vacay there at about 170, which was a great out. Looking to buy some more in this 140 area. But this is what I'm talking about. Hold on to your winners and cut your losers. You guys remember when and again, sorry, Brendan, I can't stop talking most days. QS here, that was another name that we got out. Remember there was that downgrade and then not downgrade, a short seller report, Scorpion, I'll never forget it. And it was right in here. And this is going to take a minute to load, and then I'll throw it back to you, Brendan, I promise. Right here, we were buying this on this 40 level, right? And then all of a sudden, Scorpion came out and shut the door on them, and I don't even remember what they said, but it was just like, you know what? They're not what they seem to be, and then it started to progress down. And if you're holding that, like I was long $40, or right in here, 41, something like that. We got out live on the show, don't tell anybody, $38 or so on that day, and which seems to be a good move because it dropped down to 20, right? So if you like the name, you can let it fall down, and that's what I'm doing with Magna, long story short.
All right, guys, let's bring in Arun here and get a check of the overall market. We'll talk about what to be aware of today. Arun, we are looking at a relatively uneventful start once again this morning.
It looks like an uneventful start. It does look like there's a little bit of hesitation here. I'm not sure what to make of it just yet, but I'm going to keep an eye on this. Maybe there's a short there in front of these 20s. It seems like there's something going on between 10 and 13 or so. So just keep an eye on it. There might be an opportunity. Just be aware that given the way that things have moved, if there's a move to the downside, it could be somewhat fast. So just be aware of that potential opportunity. And of course, 45.20 is a level I'm looking at. If we get above that, then, back on board with the longs and we continue on up. 45.50 or so is going to be roughly where the all-time high is on the futures on the S&P 500 E-minis. And I mentioned with some stops, everyone's probably looking at 45.50 exactly. I think it's a couple ticks. I think it's 45.49.50. I think is the exact high. And with that so close to 45.50, you can imagine most people are putting their stops above 45.50. So just keep an eye on that. We do have a couple of things. We have Tesla earnings. The reason why that would matter is because of the weighting, right? That would be number 4 on the NASDAQ 100 weight in the index itself. It's number 4 after Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. So Tesla's will move the indexes, specifically the NASDAQ 100 index. And then you also have the beige book at 2 p.m. from the Fed. So everyone's paying attention to rates at this point in time, especially around this time of year. So just be aware that could be a news headline at 2 p.m. that can move the market. So 2 p.m. and then you have earnings after market. For now, I've got 45.20 up top, potential short maybe after the open if we can find some selling around here. And I've got from yesterday, it was that 85 area that I mentioned. If we break below 85, then you can argue that maybe there's some shorts left on the table down below. But up until that point, we saw the support there in front of 90, 44.90 around pretty much first, 15, 20 minutes yesterday. We saw some decent support in front of that level. So maybe there's potential long in front of that 85. So a couple options there. You got the 20 up top, you got the 85 down below, and we're kind of stuck right in between. And it does look like the market does want to continue its climb up. Just keep an eye on whether shorts or sells do come in after the open.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's get into the watch list, guys. This week brought to you by LOVE Pharma. Go to lovepharma.com. LUV is the ticker if you want to check them out. They're on the CSE here in Toronto. You can use that QR code and get instant access to the watch list as well. Miss V can help you out in the chat if you need that link one more time. We'll talk about Netflix here first. Yeah, I mean, all eyes on the subscriber numbers as expected, 4.38 million versus 3.8 million expected in this quarter. And then their forecast for Q4 was double that, 8.5 million, but that was also kind of in line with what everyone was expecting for the forecast on the sub number. Everything else was pretty good, guys, for Netflix.
Yeah, so like one of the things to keep in mind, like it's, at the end of the day, everyone's sort of saying to themselves, well, at least I gather, if you haven't gotten Netflix by now, right? Like you had the pandemic, you had this ridiculous launch with Squid Games, and the U.S. numbers were just, I mean, it was minuscule growth, like 74,000 or something ridiculously small like that. But it's like if you don't have it right now, if you're not subscribing to the service, are you going to in the future? And if that guidance showing you that it didn't move the needle, 8.5 to 8.5, is probably telling people that maybe it's not going to attract new viewers. And in some ways, not in all, because first things first, Netflix and Disney have been a little bit, like one goes up, the other one kind of goes down. So we'll take this with a grain of salt, but I feel like these numbers are really, really bad for Disney. Because if there's a cap on the number of subs they're going to get in North America right now, that puts, like Netflix is number 1. That puts a cap on all of the other streaming services. And the only one that probably matters, like Amazon doesn't care how many people watch Prime. Apple's going to be fine. It doesn't really make a difference. But I think at this point, people are going to be beating up on Disney if they don't show that growth, let alone how many people even pay. Netflix, any disappointment in Netflix can't be a good thing for Disney here. Now, if you're going to talk about some of the levels here, it fell at the open. Like the algos took it right down to that 620 level, which was, I guess that's what the algos do in the aftermarket when there's no liquidity. It made a bit of a bounce right off that support and then shot up because I guess they didn't get the full numbers. They just saw the EPS beat, and then you're going to be up to 660, and then it falls right back down. That support is the only thing you can see. It was a clean breakout at 620. Like I came in here today in the morning, and before we made this little bit of a pop to 630, sort of thinking, okay, well, it's probably a short off of a 620 level. And then I've been watching Novavax ever since, which I just feel like Novavax is that one that I can't stop watching. Just like AVIR, because it's like, you know it's going to be volatile and there'll be big opportunity. So it'll be at the front of my mind all morning long. But yeah, this 620 level does set up for a breakdown on Netflix. It's not that there's air below it, because you got 600, you got the 50 period as well, which provides you support, and that's going to be sitting right around like 587 or so, which oddly enough is a previous high range, or just below that previous high that it had in January, beginning of the year, before we had this recent breakout. So there are substantial support levels down here on Netflix in the event that 620 breaks. So it's not like it's going to fall very far. Even as this settles down in a couple of days here. But you can sort of see on the daily chart, like that 620, if it breaks, that's your wall.
Yeah, I want to go long at 620. So we've talked about this, to start the show, and again now. I don't think the numbers were that bad, but you are getting an opportunity to buy this bottom here. So I like that for Netflix, and there's really not much else to deal with here. We're not going to get anywhere near these highs. Netflix does bounce around a bit. We are bidding 622 right now to get long ahead of that number at 620. So there's nothing. These are just 1 minute charts, and the only thing you can really look at here is the daily chart. Like we said, the numbers weren't bad at all, and this is as expected. I said the sub numbers would be all that matters, and they beat, but come not huge. They do guide the same sub number 8.5 as the street was expecting. So I like Netflix here. I think it's a good opportunity to buy some. But again, it's well off. Netflix had a very long time here of doing absolutely nothing, basically from, let's call it from May to this kind of breakout level. I mean, even if you go from May, even if you go all the way to here, 577, May to September, like you didn't have much movement. You had a bottom of 480. Look, buying bottoms and selling tops has worked, but you've basically been in this level. You haven't seen movement like this in Netflix in a while, and you're starting to get it right now. So why not buy it if you can? I'm not talking about buying it at 620 for a longer term position. I think if you can come back into about 6 bills, that's nice. But for today, let's see if 620 holds, and we're buyers ahead of that, and then we have an out. So if I buy 622, I can get out at 620, right? It's a $2 hit. I think it's well worth it, and we're willing to take a shot here with Netflix. So that's definitely a name that I like, as Ethereum's pumping near 4,000.
All right, guys, we discussed Novavax briefly there in the pre-market if you joined us. So we'll move on to United Airlines. Novavax still kind of in that same area since when we last spoke about it. Reported a smaller than expected quarterly loss for UAL, kind of the first of the airlines to come out for this quarter anyways. They also are expecting current quarter bookings and revenue rate to recover to within 75% of pre-pandemic levels. So pretty positive overall as far as the talk anyways for UAL, up 1.5% here.
Yeah, the two things that scare me about the airlines are, one, fuel costs have been going up a little bit. I don't know if anyone's noticed that. But then you have all the issues with, of course, like with labor and pilot shortages. And this is, like, to me, like that's what's dragging on the stock. What you are getting here, though, is finally some positive news coming out of the report after, I'd say, like 8 out of 10 days to the downside and trying to bounce off this 50 period here on UAL specifically. It does have itself set up pretty nicely. I mean, I'll show you on the 15. You got this bottom here at 1420, goodness, Neil. 47.20, and then again a couple of days ago, 47.20 here, broke down yesterday at that exact same price. We're gapping up with a pre-market high at 47.20. That sets you up for a 47.20 break with a 46.90-ish stop, like 30 cents worth of risk. Maybe you go up to that 48 level. That all sets up pretty good. But from a long-term aspect, I really don't like the momentum. I think there's still some concerns to be had for the airlines. Maybe we haven't had that bit of a bottom yet. And I'm just not even sure that you get a couple of more prints up in oil, and it starts to accelerate it, possibly, even if that's only a 5 or 10% possibility. I mean, there's no way these names aren't headed back down at least another 10, 15%, because that'll affect them. And then, of course, you get the shortages. So I'm not there yet, and I've never really been big into them. But yeah, you gotta look at this 47.20 level from a pure setup standpoint, and it is a long break, sort of the same way that BBIG was. Almost regardless, the setup was there for the 670 break. To me, you almost have to have this. There's no volume pre-market, so I wouldn't put a stop in until like minutes to the open, or ideally after the open, you take a break like this on a UAL, because a couple 100,000 shares in volume, you can see it's doing absolutely nothing right now. Not a huge momentum name, but the setup's okay.
Yeah. First of all, I did want to say, you know what, like a big shout out. And again, you did the smartest thing by putting this to your name. I think that was very, very fun. Trader formerly known as Jude Fernando, learning from you and trying to take a leaf out of your book, Sean Katina, inspired, humbled. And it was based on this, and it's just here. And I just want to say this to everybody, and it's not just Jude. I know a lot of you are doing this. This is basically what's inspired the sticky note, right? And that is that coming in, doing some homework, and then writing down some levels, right? Like you have short NVAX here, short Netflix to stops, different areas. Moderna touches this, coin, all this kind of stuff. Like that's exactly, Jude, what goes through my head. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you know, and again, thank you for the kind words there, because that's what I was saying. I like those levels, and the thing is, it doesn't really matter what levels you put down there, Jude. The point is that, you know, you do the homework. And to me, that's why I was giving the thumbs up. It's like, do your work, understand the levels that you want to support, because Neil, myself, and Brendan are here to give you what we think could possibly work. And it's been working. I mean, I'm having probably my best year, honestly. I don't know about ever, but I mean, I've been here 20 years, but you know, one of the top 5 years for sure. And I'm doing that all while on the show and while, you know, doing what we're doing right now. So, I mean, that's part of it, is doing the homework, getting those key levels. And a big shout out to you, Jude, for doing that. And I think that's all that matters. And then you just hope that you're right more than you're wrong, right? I mean, and that's what it is. And if you have stop orders, you let your losers go and you let your winners ride a little bit. And that's the one thing that's really elevated sort of my game to the point where I can say, you know, probably top, I mean, it's probably top 2 or 3 years for me here anyways. And like you guys, like probably, I don't know. I don't want to say how many negative days this year because then I'll just jinx myself. Shout out to Mark Roberts. He's been liking Southwest. And I remember when we talked about this, I like the domestic flights story a little bit better than international, which is why I would lean on. And I understand that about Southwest. And again, here in Canada, we don't have, you know, that kind. We have Air Canada, we have WestJet. So Air Canada is kind of the dull. But if you come down here, 48s, 49s, it's already come back from 56 here on more COVID worries, on more, you know, kids going back to school, maybe traveling coming down. But the thing is, with Thanksgiving coming, which I think is the largest, I think Thanksgiving might even be a larger traveling holiday than Christmas.
I think so.
Yeah, so,
States,
yeah, in the state. I mean, Thanksgiving's only celebrated in 2 countries.
And here it's
and it's a month different here, right? So, anyways, Thanksgiving to go. I still think that, you know, this is a good name, LUV. I think you could pick it up on weakness, and you could pick it up right here.
All right, let's go to the cannabis group here, guys. I'll kind of pull out Tilray because they had their own news, but we'll talk about the entire group here. Tilray signing a new distribution agreement in this country with Great White North distributors. So heads up on Tilray specifically, but I got to watch all of these after this happened yesterday. Huge move in this group after California legalized smokable hemp and edibles containing CBD. New York also came out and said they're not going to allow employers to test employees anymore as well. So a few positive catalysts here for today.
Someone asked me if I'm Persian. What's up, Nabil? Am I Persian or Portuguese? Kind of a mix of both. Yeah, if anybody knows what I am. So
we have a key for it.
If you want to know what nationality I am, just Google best soccer nation in the world.
Ouch.
Okay, and then it will come up. But yeah, no, shout out to my Persian and Portuguese friends. I have a lot of them actually.
Somebody on this cast is 1/8 Portuguese. Only one person.
1/8. Okay, sorry about that part. But yeah, no, I love Portuguese. Actually, my daughter, who's like 7 years old, kind of has a Portuguese boyfriend. So yeah, so I'm already on the prowl for that one. On that note, yeah, Italian. Yeah, you guys win that. Yeah, no, look, I mean, Portuguese is fantastic. Oh man, the chicken. Oh wow. So much good food. But now we're getting off on a tangent. And speaking about food, always nice to have some chicken, Portuguese chicken here when you are, you know, potentially participating in some products from Tilray, because now Tilray to the upside. We got some great news. Oh, and again, here's the watch list. Some people asking about the watch list today. Thank you so much. And I don't know, I have to refresh this, but I responded to every single comment on here today. Thank you for the 5 retweets. That means a lot. I mean, we're just trying to get more and more people here. This is what we have for weed names: Tilray, CGC, Chronic, buy on dips, yesterday's news. I mean, we talked about that. You just went over that. And thank you again for all the love on the sticky note. We'll put that up on the chat in a minute. But this is what we needed. We talked about that. I'm not going to even look at these names. I mean, I'm stuck long in these names forever. Tilray's actually not bad because it was Afria. CGC's more in trouble. I still have TrueLeave, which I believe for MSO is the best. It's TNFF.pk, but TrueLeave in Canada is my #1 cannabis name of all time for me. That's been great. We did get in and out of Grow Generation brands. We could talk about that as well. But Tilray bouncing its head right here off this level 12 and change. So I actually have some orders to get long here if we do dip back in for Tilray. So we're just going to look at that 11.50 here. Great support for Tilray on a 20-minute chart. So if there's going to be one of the names, I mean, you could look at all of them. They're all going to move together. So I would just say pick one. You don't want to be long like 3 or 4 of these names in case they collapse. So I would rather just like pick one and put 5 times the amount of capital into one of them than trade 5 of them. So I'm going to look at Tilray today, and I think a long back into here makes sense. Remember, we often do sell spikes here, but the news was good, man. Signing bills, California, New York. I mean, this is exactly the kind of stuff that we want here as bag holders of cannabis stocks. So, hey, let's keep going to the upside, but I'm buying dips. I'm not taking breakouts. That move yesterday was pretty epic. So let's see if it can hold the fort.
Yeah, if anyone looking at Sundial, because I know it gets traded day traded pretty heavily, there was a huge offer and seller at 70 cents. And then 71, it has been resistance in the past. So those are the 2 levels I'll look at today. Just to update, because with only 10 minutes to go, we do have some positions on. You remember the squeeze names went to the upside, or at least some of them did. If you're watching the afternoon show, there was that 1160 level on a failed break in BlackBerry. $12 is the big level on the daily chart, so we noted that. If it goes there, I still think it's a fade at that level. But that 1160 that we're trading at the close, right back to that same thing here. It's down to the pre-market low, so I already trimmed some off. I want to hold through a break of the pre-market low at 1125. There was no catalyst I'm aware of to all of those sort of squeeze meme type names moving to the upside as strongly as they did. And if they were to fall off, break some of these lows, I think you're retesting at least $11, if not somewhere close back to where the support is, 10 to 1050 on names like BlackBerry. And there was a host of other ones that moved as well. Like Context Logic made a move. Some of them are on our watch list, but BlackBerry, I'm in it right now. I want to be reloading if it pops back up to 1160. I want to be short as long as it's below $12, and then holding on for dear life.
I'm going to, I don't normally go back to Brendan there, but I'll take it over now. I'm actually going to right now, I'm putting up a poll. You guys tell me what you want, because I'm thinking this poll is going to get more than 1,000 votes today. So is BTC, and we can call Bitcoin right now, and this was, someone just put it on the chat, thanks for the suggestion. Is Bitcoin a sell here at all-time highs? So we can look here at the daily chart, but what should the poll be? Because it just should be a yes or no, maybe, I'm thinking. Is Bitcoin a sell here at all-time highs? I mean, I think, is that a good enough poll, guys? And then we'll all participate in that. Like, is BTC a sell here at all-time highs? Yes and no. Like, does that make any sense? So do we want to go with that? So we'll do that, and then we'll just see what's going on. So yes or no. We'll put this up for, I don't know, we'll put it up for today. So 9 o'clock, let's put it up for 6 hours. So that way we can talk about it on our closing show. So right there. Does that make sense? 9 plus 6. 6 days. Yeah, good call there. Yeah, hey, Brendan, thanks for that. Okay, let's go 7 hours. That way it'll close right when we're ready to close the day. So 7 hours, is it a sell, yes or no? We'll put that up, and you guys can go over there, and we'll see who wins. I think that the sell will win. So let's see what happens on this one, guys.
All right, speaking of crypto, sorry guys, we have a really cool guest coming through today, gaming technology, so I was figuring out some details for our guest. So stick around for 10:45. For that. Speaking of cryptos, let's talk about this BITO. Day number 1 yesterday, we're positive already for BITO. Again, the crypto futures ETF. There was a note suggesting that the majority of the order flow that came through was actually retail order flow yesterday from Fidelity specifically. 10,104 buy orders on this name yesterday for Fidelity. So, I mean, a couple $100 from all-time highs.
Look, the liquidity is really great on this in this ETF, but remember it's tracking futures, so it's not going to be a perfect investment vehicle or one that's going to be better than simply just actually holding Bitcoin. So, I don't want to be negative on it, but it seems like it's a decent enough trading vehicle. Like if you want to track spot prices and you're accustomed to equity trading, well, this is going to give you an opportunity to possibly make some moves here. And I think that's the good part about it. And from the investment side, just not really seeing it. I'll have it up in my quote board because it'll allow me to maybe track some movement. And then if we see like gigantic opportunities, like one day we're going to be staring like 75,000 in the face, or 100,000 in the face, or on a pullback 50,000. And like at those types of moments, you're going to maybe want something that you can jump into a trade very, very quickly that you know is reliable. So I would have a quick look at this on those types of days. It is only day 2. I haven't traded it yet. Didn't trade it yesterday. Was watching it all day long. I think it's going to be interesting. I just don't love it as a long-term investment vehicle just because it's following futures, which that has its own issues.
Yeah, okay, so we just put the poll up. It's right here. Oops, that just squeezed it there. So we'll see here as it goes. We'll keep in touch with what's going to happen. Already 80 votes, guys. Wow. I mean, if you have an opinion on this poll here, please come through. Wow. This is like an election here. 51.9 versus 48.1. Brennan, we're going to recount the ballots at the end of this one, I believe. Maybe some hanging chads, but 52-48, guys, is a sell here at all-time highs. So yes, it is a sell here at all-time highs according to everybody there. 80 votes already. Let's see if we can get that. There goes 150 votes right now, as that's going to have to refresh. It just said 150, 186 votes now, 50-50. So let's get ready to rock and roll, guys. See if we can support that. Just doing like a channel check to see what we think. And I mean, personally, I think we go higher, but I think that poll will be more towards the sell side. I did buy more Cardano, though, so let's hope that
it's a little something for everybody.
Trends to the high side.
Time frame is all that really matters when it comes to that. So some people, it's how you interpret the question, right? I mean, ultimately, if you're thinking,
well, that's why, Neil, I was asking, how should we do the question?
There's no perfect way to do it.
Right. So I think we did good.
Yeah, I think you did it the way you have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, good. Is BTC a sell here at all-time highs? I mean, it's pretty simple. Let's see what you guys think. And of course, you sell it. I'm not saying you get out of your position completely, but is it a sell here? Just like I thought Apple was at 152, right? So you gotta get ready for that. Wrong on Microsoft selling at 300, as that's at 310. So let's go check for Russian vote rigging. Yeah, Valeria's all over that one. So Valeria's we're going to. I'm hoping.
She's the expert.
Look, I hope it can get rigged, right? I want this poll to be hot fire. So let's see what happens.
I am very surprised by that, but very, very close, yeah. LMDX, one from the bottom end of the list today, already broke to the downside. 1080 if you go to the... So this is a former SPAC, if anyone was wondering. There's COVID-related news. There's an antigen test that they got approved in India. But this already broke. 1080 was the level I was watching, so it broke to the downside. Kind of grinding along 1015, 1020 right now. So any kind of test at the open here back into 1080 is worth a look. Above that, 1180. That's really all you got to know for LMDX, guys.
Yeah. I see there, Nicole Harris. I mean, we were going to do something on Ethereum and their proof of stake and stuff like that. So
there was that note out
we were
by-
going to do that Ethereum gas and yeah.
You hear about the Hindenburg?
The research
so
report?
Hindenburg has come out with a $1 million bounty for information on Tether.
Citron.
No, it was Hindenburg. This
Was
morning.
it? I thought
this
it was
morning,
Citron.
it was pretty sure. It was
I did
Hindenburg.
see it.
And it was like a $1 million bounty for
Tether's
information
holdings.
on Tether's holdings.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, shh, can you like Tether scares me a little bit too. But can you calm down? Don't shed a light on it. And maybe, you know what? Maybe there needs to be. I shouldn't say it. Maybe
it is Hindenburg.
But maybe there does need to be a bit of a looking into of Tether, and then maybe there needs to be a shakeout, and I think it'll be a healthy thing because there are some concerns there. Just a couple of notes. Alibaba just made a double top at 182.50 and is starting to pull back in, so it might test. We'll 2 minutes to go here. It might test at 180. I want to see if I can buy in front of it and then have a stop just below that 180, maybe not 180 even because I hate round number stops, but BABA coming back off after we talked about the positivity that it had. And then same thing with BBIG. That just put in a double top as well. Vinco Ventures. That was at an incredibly random price. So it was 688, 689, something pretty random. Now it's pulling back in here. I want to add to it in front of this 660 level where it had consolidation and probably one time in front of 50s at the open. But I don't want to give this too much pass a low. It does feel like it can put a dead cat bounce in. It doesn't really feel like the news was terribly bad here. So we'll be buying the dip. We did take some profit off, but Vinco and Alibaba pulling back in here.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm just liking a lot of these comments. A lot of comments there on this Bitcoin poll and everything. Anyways, I just can't keep commenting to everybody, but thank you so much. I'll do it after the show as we are getting ready to rock and roll right now. Let's just check out. So Tilray, my bid here on Tilray is 11.25, so 11.28. Sorry, we'll see if that comes through. Netflix as well. I actually agree with you, Jude, that I think it is probably a sell at these levels, but we are still looking to pick some up if it gets down into 622 or 623 or so on that one. BBIG starting to fall down. Like I said, I'm not really a buyer. This was a very, very small position, like 5% of what we want, just in case it was starting to go up. So we are protecting BBIG to the downside here, $6. So that's what we're waiting for.
Yeah, with only 20 seconds to go, I see the comments on Affirm. I don't disagree at all about the notion of what we could have happen here at that 160 level. We talked about it at the end of the show here. If it does that pop and drop kind of idea off of one failed 160 break, that does set up for an entry. And there's room to 142. Ms. V's on the bell, 3, 2, and 1. Hump day starts.
It's hump day, yeah, so let's get started here. BBIG is starting to fall down, so we'll see if we can get that bid that we're looking for, that low bid that we're looking for on BBIG. So right now that's starting to go down. We'll check out Netflix quickly, 696, so not doing a whole hell of a lot. What else do we have on our board? Weed names, BlackBerry. I want to short BlackBerry if it's near 12. So
BlackBerry already headed to the downside here. If it does want to make a pop, and my eyes are on Affirm because it is starting to head up here, and if BlackBerry wants to make a pop, which it's doing, first short for me was at 1160. I'll go right back to that. Well, if I can catch a reload, I did take some out. Was a good decision, it looks like, in front of that 1130 pre-market low. So trying to catch this pop on BlackBerry, but also Affirm here, making a bit of a run. And apologies for not getting to it. Oh, it already pulled back off 158. So I thought this spike up was going to take you into a fail at 160. It looks like it's not even going to get there. Affirm, if that was it, 158 was all it's going to do. This one could die. And Novavax, I thought there'd be more action off the open, but it's back at 125, 126.
Okay, so we did get into a short here on BlackBerry. Our first trade here, right into the pre-market highs. So we do want to, see if this one will work out for us a little bit there. There goes Vinco Ventures. So BBIG looks like that'll be another win for us. We'll put this on the board. Yes, let's go. Bang! 17, 18 pennies now on BBIG there. This is what we're talking about. There's that reload, man. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So we'll go ding as we feel like we're winning the lottery on that one. BBIG, let's go, baby. 30 cents of the money on that one. And look, by the way, hello, we're going to go 2 for 2 already. So we're spinning this early. There goes BBIG. Let's go to the upside. A big win for me here, guys. Really happy with the way this trade is going.
Yeah, we talked about having that 660 right before the open. It picked me right up there at 661.
Boom.
Now some out in front of 7. 720 is your next level in the event that 7 even does break. Watch out now. Affirm is starting to come in here. So it looks like it's trying to make that move up to that 158, 160 area. That's definitely going to be a bit of a short for me. But Vinco Ventures, hold through a 7 even break, I think is the way to go here. And BlackBerry, of course, which we've been sitting in all morning long, now looking like it wants to come right back down into these lows. If it takes out the bottom, which it's looking like it's about to do here, I think we can see $11 easy.
Okay, so we are into Netflix again. Not a heavy position, but we are going to wait for this one to see what happens here on NFLX. We're long at 622. So, some upside moves hopefully coming on Netflix. But there it is right there. There it is, $1 and change on Netflix. Hell yeah, we take that out as well, man. What kind of a day is this? Look at BlackBerry. Kaboom right now, guys. This is what we're talking about. I don't know. Hey, welcome to the jungle. We are fun and games, man. What a good day to trade here today. Congratulations, anybody on any of these names with us.
Yeah, and like I said, we're going to be looking for that Affirm trade. I mean, we can talk about a bit about BlackBerry when it slows down, because it's heading towards 111 pretty quickly here, and I do want to take some profit out in front of that as well. Peloton, and I shout out to the viewers for finding that one, because wasn't really looking at it, but there's your 90 break on Peloton, and that's gorgeous. I love to see that kind of a thing. It's right to 92. You are seeing the breakout, so that's a monster winner if you had that one. Wasn't on my list. I'm going to be hunting for some other names, and now that Affirm is starting to sell off, it feels like it could be 157.5 here, maybe for a starter. Doesn't seem to have as much juice. And by the way, the NASDAQ touched the high from overnight, from yesterday, and just reversed. So a bit of a rejection of the high of yesterday on the NASDAQ, pulling back in.
Wow, what a day, guys. We just took, I mean, look at this. Bang. I mean, if you're not, honestly, like, I can't, I'm not even going to whatever. I always talk about the sticky note because I really feel that it has a lot of traction and you guys really do like it. But right there, this is on the sticky note right there for this trade. So as is this Netflix trade that we've already taken $1 and change on. So there it goes. It breaks down. So there you go. Lose $1, make $1. Actually, looks like we will be a little bit down there because it does break that 620. We just got out. So there's Netflix. Some good levels. Good call on that, Jude. You were going to short this name, and it looks like it's paying off right down there, that 6 and change area. Not a bad out. I mean, this is a flat trade, so we did defend that 620 level. Good thing we took a piece out there. So far, so good, man. BBIG continues bang right there.
BlackBerry just hit 11s.
Yeah, good, man. BlackBerry, congratulations, man. Anybody on that name again? This is what happens. Hopefully you're following us and making a little bit of cash along the way as well.
Okay, here comes Novavax. So this will be round 1 for Novavax here. There was a 132 level. We mentioned 132 and 140. So this will be off of that 132 area. First 130 is an even number. Take a few shares here, and then going to look to see what happens when it gets to this 132. I don't want to have a hard stop on a stock, which, I mean, right now the range is $14 from pre-market to where we are right now, pre-market lows to where we are now. So it's going to be a mover. Having a hard stop at a 132 doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. We'll give it some room. I will only add if it rejects 132 even. I got that Alibaba. We talked about buying the dip on this one in front of that 180 level. I end up with 180.65 here. It touches 180.22s. Trying to head back above 181. If I can scalp $1 out of this trade, I'll go ahead and do that. Because remember, I just said the NASDAQ was rejecting some of those highs. If we turn red on the day, I want to cover myself a little bit here because Alibaba, it's a big run that it's had, and I don't want to get caught. This is as if this is going to be that pullback day. So Baba, I'm in. I have a stop below that 180 level, and then of course Novavax. Cross our fingers because if right now, everything in the money except for shorting Novavax, which is getting a bit of a dead cat bounce. Brendo.
Yeah, Alibaba going. So is this one. JD.com, guys. Big move right out of the gate here. 3% on huge volume. Just took out 87 there for JD.
Okay, yeah, Alibaba, big run. Thank God for that one. Well, actually, Alibaba's coming to the downside right now. But okay, here we go. So CEI off of a big move upside there. We start a very, very small position. We're going to take 5 times the shares if we can get it about 188 or so right into this level. I mean, I should just take 187 if I did like it that much. So maybe we will get that in a minute. But 188 coming. That's going to be a spot that I'm going to be sitting at right now. So 188 to try to go short rate on that. So that's going to be a good trade there. We did get out of our BlackBerry rate here. So it's bouncing around. So far, so good on BlackBerry, I think. Anyways, we'll see where we go on this one, but that's going to be BlackBerry. And then BBIG still making moves again up to $7. So that's going to be a good trade. And then we're taking this Tilray long. But remember what I said, this is not going to be one of those names where it's like we're super excited about Tilray. We really need to let this settle down a bit and see where we go. So right now, Tilray, we're long this name. What did I write down here? We just want to get long dips into 11.25. So we're actually long right there right now. A break through 11, and we're going to get out of this way. So we'll take one more average, and then Tilray could be up in smoke if it doesn't start to move.
Yeah, speaking of up in smoke, I do have to watch that sundial. It looks like it's not going to have any chance of that 70 level. So I like 70. If it got there, fantastic. Lower highs would be about 68.5. Novavax is getting close to almost wanting to give up the ghost. It turned here, rejected a push through that 32 level. On the way back down, I was able to catch some. I'll zoom in to see here, guys, as it was trying to make this turn, and now we're barcoding here. So if it makes a fresh high at this point, and not talking about early in the pre-market, but a fresh high since the open, I'll just get out and not fight it, look for a re-entry. Brendo, what you got for us?
A couple of minor headlines on Pinterest again today, 3.2% so far. Another one just straight to the upside. That's $1.50 right out of the gate after a nice move yesterday for pins as well.
Thank you to Ms. V for refilling up the coffee there. It looks like this BlackBerry trade is going to be a good one for us. So, we're super happy with the way this is turning out for us. There's a short rate there into that, off the sticky note. So, that was going to be a good trade for us, and we'll look for more here coming through. So, Tilray does bounce a little bit. We took some out there for like 2 cents, nothing. I didn't even really realize I had an offer there, but I did. I thought I got longer down here. I'm actually waiting at 11.10. It goes to 11.12, but we talked about reloading that one, so hopefully you do have that. And then there goes, like I said, Vinco. I mean, you're still in Vinco Ventures, I assume, as well. As this looks like it's going to the upside right now, and we're still in this one. That's going to be a big one for us right there. So the cash cow that is Vinco Ventures and BlackBerry today on some of these meme names continue to go. And CEI, we got that 88 short. Did it just go to 82 and I didn't get out? Let's wait to see where this goes. But right now we are short 87. We're going against $2.
Yeah, and just going to have a quick look. BBIG, remember I said 720? I didn't show you guys. 15-minute chart. Here's your breakout last week. And here's your double top here before that break. So 720, that's the next level I want to be able to take out. From there, I'm looking at 750. That's nothing too complicated. It was just yesterday's bottom was at 750. Alibaba looks like it just came back too hard. I'll be cheering for you, Alibaba, but I mean, I'm only going to take the day trade so far. It tried to hold load. It tried to hold that 180 level, couldn't do it, so now it's broken down. I'll probably revisit at 177, but it looks like Alibaba's headed to the downside. Not too much we can do about it there. BlackBerry looked like it was a good out to take some in front of that $11 range. Is it just bounced off 11 even? This is going to remain a short for me. Even on a pop here, I'm still sitting on the offer in front of that 1160 level. I'm not at the point where I would short lower than these current prices, but if we hold down here, I could definitely change my mind on that one. And then just going to come back over to Novavax, which at one point was looking like it was going to be, it was going to flush right off. It was at this consolidation level. Okay, this is going to be that TSN turning point. I'm going to get some shares out in front of VWAP and then hold for the low. But this is binary. It consolidates like this when you're down 18%. When your daily chart looks like that, it was down, I said cut in half, it's actually way more than cut in half. If we take out about 133.5, 134, just gonna cut bait on this name here. So Novavax possibly catching a bit of a run. And if it breaks this, you could see a 140 print. 150 wouldn't even be crazy. I'll wait for 140 before any reentries, though. And BBIG, there's your 720 right here. There we go.
Boom. And that spit out some money for CEI as well, man. Yeah, it's just coming out big time. CEI down to 83 now. So, I mean, we're catching these out as we go, man. We do have an 82 bid still, like we talked about. Or did that get filled? No, our 83 got filled. Our 82 didn't. So, still have some room to go here on CEI to the short side. Yeah, there's BBIG. We were sitting right there at 717. This is going to be my number one stock today as we loaded up the boat down there at 660, as we said we would, guys. What's up, Brendo?
First wave BioPharma, little tiny BioPharma stock just popping up here. They actually got FDA clearance on an IND, investigational drug application yesterday, but the stock did absolutely nothing yesterday. But here we go today. FWBI up 15%.
So remember that, TRKA that you mentioned, I think Brendan was the only one that talked about it in the pre-market. This was the one that was up on somewhat air. It fell like hard through $2, gets to 182, and now is pumping back into the upside. So it's on the radar now as it approaches a 225 pre-market high. Now there's nothing up here on the daily chart that's too interesting until you get to at least 235 and 265. So some random prices in there. So I'm really only now looking at that pre-market top. I think I can start something in the 215 range for a short side trade, but I don't want it getting through that high of the day, guys. By the way, Affirm, yep, should have found our way into Affirm. It just never did. It didn't even test 160. I'm sitting there be patient. So many days in a row, it's get in too early on Affirm. This time, it looks like 158 is all you can get because now Affirm down $4 or $5 and possibly tanking even further. And that only makes me want to go over to Upstart, which is the other one that we've been sort of ignoring. Not really intentionally. There we go. Load. It just tanked down to that 356 level. Watch out. 350 is a big level on Upstart. I think it's going to find support down there if it gets there.
Tilray, guys, spin it again. I mean, we get that 1110 bid that we were waiting for, and there it is. Again, just sitting here telling you guys where my orders are and taking fills when they come through. And there it is right there. So there's that bid and then straight to the upside right now. So celebrating yet again another one here on TLRY. So that's going to be a big win. 50 cents in the money right now for our friend BBIG. And then CEI, we just got 84s there. So we got our 84 bids. Now we'll wait for 82s and even lower on that one. Kill him, Brendan.
First of the little squeeze stocks we mentioned yesterday popping up here. Green Pro Capital. This one put in a decent move late in the day yesterday, got back above $1. Big volume spike there, guys, trying to go for GRNQ.
I don't remember that one for some reason. I'm going to add that to my list because for some reason it wasn't there. Novavax just took out the top, and I'm going to wait for 140 now because the way I see it, if it's going to make this type of a move, you don't want to fight it all the way. I've done that before where you fight it, you get 3 entry points, or you keep on thinking the turn is going to come, which I still believe it could, but I'm going to wait for 140. That was the level I was sort of looking at when I came back in and looked at the daily chart. I just sort of looked at this level all the way back from June where it had a bit of a spike, so let's let it gravitate towards that price. If I've missed the boat on Affirm, I've missed the boat. There's not much you can do about it, but apologies for not talking about Tesla today. Goodness, they have earnings. kind of a bit of a thing. Tesla just broke the pre-market low at 860 and then got down to 57s and recovered. And in 57, I was actually in the morning, I was saying to these guys in the chat, 850 and 857 are the two prices I'd expect a bit of a dip, but it's already dipped off 857. And I do feel it's still a fade beneath that 880 level. So I'll have to sit out and wait for an 850 level on that particular name. BBIG's pulling back in a little bit, but I think there's a dip buy in front of that 670 breakout, which we can still put on to maintain this long position. Brendo?
All-time highs, guys. Bitcoin just made all-time highs. BITO, huge pop here on volume above 42.
Okay, so there's the answer to your trivia question, I guess,
yes.
temporarily. It's going to be a yes on where's Bitcoin going from here. It looks like it is going to all-time highs, and we can just quickly look at that 65.3 and change right now. So, yeah, congratulations to the Bitcoin bulls. It looks like you're going to win right now, but the day is far from over, as we know here on Bitcoin. So get ready to rock and roll on that one, guys. A good trade for anybody long Bitcoin, and again, just congratulations. I mean, it's been a big trade for a lot of people. So, just like Tilray, right here in 31s now. So, I mean, this one is going to be another one. We'll fire off some more hot dogs here because, you know, when you are participating, you do like to have some hot dogs. And right there, a nice little move for us on this name. So that is, of course, Tilray making back to the upside here. And oh, yeah, and by the way, check out CEI right now. Superman is in the building on this one as CEI. Look at this move. We shorted this 88 pop right down to 78. So let's continue to take some profits. So far today, man, BlackBerry, that was a pretty easy out there at 11. I mean, right down there, we saw some support. We didn't really see some support, but it's just using that price area as some sort of concern. BBIG's been a good one, man. Tilray's been a good one. Netflix, we've lost on Netflix, although that was good. If it just broke 620, unfortunately, it's right back to the upside. But so far, so good. How's your trading going, guys?
Gotta look at this HX, which I think we had on the watch list as well. This has been a ridiculous mover, and we have no locates. I'm gonna double check now because earlier when I saw it, we didn't have any. But this is like 5 or 6 days in a row to the upside with only one down day. It just touched $12, which is 6 times up since it made that breakout. And it is actually holding weakness here. So if this is a turnaround day, now they're going to be charging like 30 cents a share here, which I'll just lock in. If they're going to be a down day on this stock, there's so much room for it to go. It's now tried twice to pop into this 11 level from the pre-market. And yes, it is still gapping up 10%, but all morning long, it's basically been selling off, and this is the first little jump up, and it's rejecting 11 even. I'll take a shot on this one in front of 11. Brenda, what do you got?
I just saw Coin obviously popping through, guys, on volume. Ford as well, Sean, starting to go. Apple, Wedbush, guys, the latest to jump on board here for Apple, talking about what chip shortage. Q3 should be fine for iPhone sales, so Apple trying to get back to this high from yesterday.
Yep. Well, hey, join the club, Wedbush there. Yeah, we've been talking about Apple supply issues not being an issue, and it looks like that's going to be the truth. So we'll see about this to the bottom side here, man. What a good day this has been. We just took out some more CEI down there. Like, we just got a 76 bid right there on CEI. So everything moving, man. BBIG to the upside. We're going to hold this now forever. Not forever, but we'll see where it goes. Tilray, again, just been emptying this out. You feel lucky that we got this. I don't think there's going to be Tilray music today. We already know, where that's come from in the last couple days. So right now, Tilray, we're just cashing it out. So we still have a position, obviously. We have 60% left of this total position. So we only got out of 40% on the high side. So it's a positive stock, but not great because we're not really getting the follow through on Tilray. But again, I'm still waiting in the 20s and 30s. Let's see if we can take advantage of that. We said let's buy some Microsoft today, but we haven't really had the opportunity as the NASDAQ's not doing too much, and this is what you call barcoding. So I stay away from stock when this happens, but we're already at our daily goal here, and it's 947. And that's what's going to happen when you sort of make some calls that work out. And so today it's been a good day, but it's been a great month. It's been a great year. Like I said, probably my best year. As Bitcoin right now, I'll check for you guys. I don't how we're going to go back that far, but 65,000. There's the break right there. Now you're at 66,193. And when we get back, we'll check in on our poll.
Going to check back in on Tesla here as it just made that bounce, like we said, off 857. And look, it's putting in a lower high for now. The idea that you sell off going into earnings makes a little bit of sense to me. I did just get ticked into that HX, which we just mentioned, so had to pay for locates. If you can't get locates there, it was even hard to borrow for us here at Day Trade the World, but we're able to pay to do so. So I got to stop. It's around 1130 is a big level on the daily in the pre-market on the 1-minute chart there. Tesla, like I said, trying to put in a bit of a lower high. I still think your 880s, Your 875 area is going to be your hard top probably going into earnings. I don't see any way we print above that. And then 850 is going to be that level to the downside. One more push into the high of the day, and I would look to potentially fade this one. Firm, I do still think it's probably a bit of a sell, but I don't like the notion of chasing a firm. Every time I've chased this to the downside, it's been a bit of I've gotten punked, right? So if it bounces off the low here, which it's been trying to do, and can give me something at least a little bit closer to that 158, if I think you're not wrong to 160, I don't like the notion of shorting a 155. The risk to reward isn't necessarily fantastic, and it's right in front of pre-market support. Like I just said, the first entry we just got into HX, right here in front of that 11 even area. I can show you on the pre-market level. This is when it had its first flush, when retail came in really, really early, and then it stalled out here at about 1130, lower highs all the way through. I'll use that 1130, that first lower high, as my stop. If it gets down to 10, trim some off. If it gets below that 950 level, it closed at 951, so you can hold on for dear life, but a bounce there wouldn't be too crazy. It's yesterday's close, and it's a low since the open. Obviously, there's going to be some buyers at HX down there. But hey, that'd be $1 away.
Ooh, what are people saying about AMD? Long at 75 bucks on this one. AMD, a nice little win to the upside here. This is where we cashed out last time. We got some out at 119.50 last time. I remember that clear as day, because again, it was just, oh, darn it, we have that bad wick. This is just went parabolic here, all the way upside. And again, when I notice something is way off of its 50-period moving average, to me, that's like sort of a sign that maybe it's time to get out. But AMD, I don't want to get out of this name, man. There's still earnings to come on this. So all of these names still have some opportunities to go to the upside on great earnings, which I'm expecting from all of the semis. So let's just go to Valeria and hold your AMD longs, guys.
Hey Sean, Radius Health is reaping. Stock is up more than 40%. Could you take a look at RDUS for us?
Sure. I don't know anything about this name, but we'll do that here. RDUS, so 2170. Okay, let's go. Chart has to load up so I can see this thing. Big move up on RDUS. Let's go to Brendan.
Yeah, there's positive breast cancer trial data on that RDUS, so that's the reason for that one. I want to mention this one as well, guys. Little Chinese, tiny float here. 7.6 million on the float for CNEY. This is a wood-based activated carbon company. NY, guys.
See, and I'm immediately just looking at that RDUS, just simply because it looks like this is almost exactly $25 that it turned at, and you did have a level here in the daily chart above it at like 26 even. So on that theme, I would look for the most obvious support as to where it's going to go to, and that's going to stand out. I'd say 19 into the 200 period at 18 even, and that's just, that's a heck of a ways to the downside. So this has some crazy room to fall. There's just not a heck of a lot standing in the way. It's done tons of volume, but the liquidity is it's non-existent on RDUS. So I want to see if we can get some locates on this, because I would assume that we're not going to have shares given how thin it is.
All right, so Weed Batman right there taking some profit again.
Oh, we do.
That went. Okay, good. So we're smoking this right now with Tilray. So a good out there again. I'm trying to get some out. We just got 22s there on Tilray. You can see that's the spot right there. And maybe I can zoom in a little bit. It's not like a super sexy trade, but we're in there at 27 or so, and then in at 10, and now we're just taking these profits out. So we need this to go. So this is not going to be a super profitable trade unless we get back to the upside. So I have one more out all the way up here at 40, and then hopefully we can climb from there. Otherwise, we'll let this go at 11 bucks or so. Checking back in on BlackBerry. That was a good out right there. So we'll spin the money early on BlackBerry as it goes out right there, coming out for that. So that was a good one today for me, was BlackBerry. Then BBIG, another one today that's been raining down the cash. We're just waiting for this to go now. So I don't know. We're already out. Right now I have a little bit more, 15% of this position left, as we, all the ticks out above where you're in. So that's tends to be a good day when that happens. We just got to fill on something else. Holy crap. There it is, man. Siren alert. Let's go, Tilray. Boom! We talked about still having 60% of that trade on. So there it is, man. Yes, sir. Tilray, what kind of a day, what kind of a week, what kind of a year are we having here, guys? Thank you for tuning in to Trader TV Live. These hits just keep on coming, man, and let's just keep on rocking with Tilray. We're long at 11.10. Neil, there's another one right there, baby.
And here comes speaking of baby, BABA down to that 177 level. We talked 180. Now it's going to be this 177 on the dip. It's still positive on the session because it gapped this entire move here. And yeah, guess what? The market holding up rather nicely, but the NASDAQ pulling back, and I want to show you guys a bit of a divergence here, so it's worth noting. ES is breaking through the top, while the NASDAQ is rejecting. So you've got to be able to see where the trend is. You're getting a bit of a tech sell-off or a resistance at this high. Meanwhile, the S&P is looking relatively strong and breaking those highs of the day. I just checked in on Alibaba in front of that 177. We said if we'd only take it in front of 180. If that broke, you wait for that 177 level. That's exactly what we've done here. It looks like Tesla still wants to reject. I'm not touching Tesla till 850. I think 850 is going to be the level for me. I have an offer on BOBA in front of 79s, and that 180 previous support is going to turn into resistance, right? So I want to be covering that in front of that 180 level if we get the opportunity to. I'm still holding some of BlackBerry. I said I want to be short this thing essentially all day long after what I saw in yesterday's action. If there had been a catalyst to this move, fair enough, but there really wasn't. And it was so strong on the way up. There's no obvious support levels, so you get all the way down to maybe like 1050 here. At the initial push, stalled at 1050 and pulled back. I think and then when it broke that level, you had a bit of a dip to that 1050. I think that's all you got. If 11 wants to hold a break, you can go back to 1050 on BlackBerry, and as long as we have that resistance at 1160 from last night, and then $12 on the daily chart, there's all kinds of reason to still be into this stock, into the sell side. So I'm hanging on to BlackBerry for dear life, and I'd reload if it comes back up to at least close to 1150.
Yeah, exactly. I'll probably try to reload this BlackBerry trade as well at some point here, guys. Yeah, not right yet. Right now, we're just working with CEI on board here. So CEI, we did get those bottom ticks down there in the 70s, right? And again, you know, it's like counting your chickens before they hatch. You got to get out. It's like you have winners, that's great. But if you don't, you know, celebrate your winners and able to get out of them, then a win becomes a loss, essentially. So let's wait to see here what's going to happen with CEI. But I like the name. We did get that trade there, so that's been a really, really good one for us as we're light on CEI now, but a good turnaround here back to the upside. We're still going to try to protect that $2, but there's a nice cash there on that one. So we'll see what's happening with BlackBerry, and again, like, that's just a great out. So, you know, you're making your money back here. I'm going to wait till we get back upside one more time before we do anything. But BlackBerry's a good trade. Microsoft, just trying to see what else is happening. Disney to the downside. Coinbase probably going crazy, which is absolutely fantastic. And we did get out of more right there. So siren alert on Tilray, man. We just took out some 42s there. We're pretty light now, man. We're emptying out the the portfolio here on Tilray, as that's going to be that. I mean, that's been a big trade for me too. I don't even know. I mean, my top trade today is going to be on Ethereum, but we have CEI making money, Tilray's making money, BlackBerry's. I mean, we're perfect today. We don't have actually Netflix is the one name. Although Netflix we were long 622, it's at 626, but we did dump that on a 620 break. So in and out there on Netflix. Wish we still had that one, but other than that, man, it's been one of these kind of days, but it's been one of these kind of years. So I just loving trading. And I hope you're enjoying the passion.
Yeah, exactly. HX just came through that. It just came up through that the 1130, and it's like, I did try this. It was an unbelievable failed break, which I like to add to a position when it does a failed break through a level. I can cancel my offers because I'm obviously not going to get any of those. So it tests the high. I don't get any. I tried chasing it. I wasn't going to chase it too far, and then it's right back to 10 even. So you do a capitulation like that. To me, you're headed down to the lows. If there's even a minute pop, I'd probably short it in the 1050 range if I can, and then I think we're headed down to 950 on this stock. So it does feel like that's going to go to plan. It's ridiculously thin, by the way. I think that's one of the reasons why it was difficult to pick up shares. Whoops. I want to bid there. I wanted to bid down around here in front of $9, which I think we can get to at this point. So HX is going to fall off. It did cost, like we had to pay for shorts here. So if you can't trade this one, you don't get any locates. I understand it was hard for us as well. Tesla, which I thought was going to be a bit more active, it did have that drop. 857 has come into play, but right now it's doing almost nothing. I want it testing that high before I would consider a short. And if it breaks lower, it's got to be 850 or bust for me. And for those of you watching Affirm, yeah, it continues to go down. So I might have missed the boat. I did try to get shorts on this one, but I wanted it closer to 116. I was unwilling to chase it. It's going to continue into the downside here. So Affirm's sell-off does continue for us. There was that name that you brought to us, that RDUS, Brendan. As HX, by the way, just halted to the downside. I'm holding it through the halt. I mean, if you got one, like I just said, it's falling off a table. I'll actually cancel my bid at 915 now that it's in the downside halt. It's RDUS. Why can't I move this chart? That's kind of weird. But this RDUS came all the way up to 23 again and then rejected at 22. So 21, sorry. It looks like it's putting a lower high. 25 was a decent level on the daily chart. I did check. We have free shorts on this stock, so I can go short.
yeah.
If it comes back up and retests 23 and has a bit of a rollover, I'll take a shot at it. But as I just mentioned, HX is now halted to the downside. I did take some out in front. Now I'm just going to hold on to the reopen. At this point, there's no point having a bid at $9. You could get taken out on the opening print. I mean, if it's going to flush even further, this could actually be at $8. So when you have this one in your favor, I'm just going to hold until what I expect to be a 5-minute halt. So in about 4 minutes or so, it'll reopen, or 10 minutes, and then I'll play it by ear. If it breaks 9 even, I'm holding. If it has immediate support there, I can cover. Maybe my shorts here at I got short at 1088. So it's not going to turn into a loser no matter what, and I can cancel this offer because it's not going to come into play.
Okay, so yesterday I stuck my neck out for you guys. You're asking for an opinion on a firm. I said it was a short. You're in the money 1%. I don't know. That's not a big move for a firm, but I did make that call at 3 o'clock yesterday talking about a firm. So, we'll take a little bit of credit for it. Down that 1.12% right now. So 145 coming in right now on a firm, and we'll just see where it goes. I think that's going to be a good level. I don't think we get 145 today, but definitely watch out there on AFRM on that kind of a move on a 20-minute chart. It looks still pretty nice up here, man, 158 or so. But that's the call that we made yesterday. You guys were asking for that. So there it is, 157. Big move today to the downside. So I don't know. Let's watch out for the NASDAQ. We may be overheated. This happens when you come into those big earnings, right? You're going to have next week, I think it's the 28th is Apple. Microsoft's going to be there. Everybody's going to be coming next week, including AMD, NVIDIA, things like that. So just be very, very careful with the NASDAQ right here. I think we are due for a little bit of a pullback. As I said, near all-time highs. Sometimes you got to expect some of this. There goes Bitcoin. It's been going this whole time. But that's a one-day chart. Let's check a 1-minute chart. Prad, what are you making money on over there, buddy? I want to. What is it, Prad? Tell me. 66 and change there. I don't know. Once Prad listens to me, then he'll let me know.
He trades the firm every day. So
yeah, you can see. I can't see Prad's net. You can, but so Prad, were you short a firm there, Prad? Yes, sir. There it is. I don't know. He's saying let's go, but I don't think he hears me, so I'll ask him after.
He's got the headphones.
There it goes. Yeah, there goes Bitcoin up to 66 and change. So still making some money, but congratulations there if you are short a firm, guys. Like I said, we did talk about that yesterday. And look at CEI, a nice little move to the downside again. So nice movement on CEI. We just cashed out a little bit more there, but nice move right there. So far, so good. And I'll find out what Prad's doing. But right now, it's a firm. Yeah,
it is a firm. It is a firm.
It is a firm, yeah. Like I said, I can't see his trades, but it is a firm. So good job there, Prad. I don't know if he heard what we were talking about yesterday, but a firm on a nice sell there. We stamped that sell yesterday. Remember, you guys were asking at about 3 o'clock for this name. Come on, let's go. And then, so there it is now, a nice little 2% move to the downside. Considering the NASDAQ is flat, this has a lot of room to go down if the NASDAQ fails here, guys. So that's a firm, and he's Brendan. So let's throw it over to him.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock. Let's go have a look at how things are shaping up so far. Overall, pretty muted as far as the market is concerned. The Dow actually leading about 0.3 to the upside. The S&P 0.2 there to the upside. We'll take what we can get. The NASDAQ in negative territory here in Toronto, 0.13 for the TSX. So individual names where to be, including this one. Wow, what a move for Novavax, guys. 120 at the open. We're at 135, $15 straight. Back to the upside for NVAX, still down big time after that news. Quran as well. Some of these cannabis stocks, I mean, they're kind of all over the place. This one obviously coming back to the downside, but some of the other ones, Tilray still showing some strength. Guys, back over to you.
Of which, and we just had a convo. By the way, that 670, the original entry into BBIG, we're right back into that level. 660 was a dip buy, so I think this is where if it can level off. I want consolidation between anywhere in this range. I don't care. Like it could be 60s, it could be 70s. You want consolidation here, and I think that's where you take a check back in on this trade, and then maybe we can make that rush. But we said 720 was a level. 750 was where we hoped it could go ultimately. To me, it would have been a short if it got to 750, but it never did. And then Jude Fernando, the trader formerly known as Jude Fernando, talking about this looks like the level in NVAX. And I was saying as it comes back up here, I tend to agree. Like I thought it would be 140, but you can't ignore the fact that it holds consolidation at 135, gives you the pullback right into the range where like when I got stopped out, this was the consolidation, 131 right into 133.5. So it puts in that same low at 131 and then right up here to that 135. So this is the test. I do agree with you there. So I've gotten and I waited to get back into position on this one. It would have been 140, but it's going to show you a different level here. And if it falls back in, look, it's a 134.50 short. Am I going to take some out in front of 131? Yes. Am I going to take some out in front of VWAP at 128, 129? Yes, I would do that as well. But I think you're holding down to what 122 seems like a bit of a big level as well. So if it can manage to hold this line, I think it has a bit of a drop in it. Just keep in mind, there's way more room to the upside than there is on NVAX to the downside. And so I'll always have a hard stop. If it makes a fresh high, I'm out. And again, waiting for 140s, check that. And the reopen happened there on, I got to go over to HX because HX did reopen. Now, if I was long in holding into a halt, you know, would I have been not staring at this the entire time? But look, no, we're in the short trade as this one is now opened off to the halt. It does hold that 9 even, where I did think about wanting to get out before. So, you know, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm just going to take it. If I thought there was support at 9 even, I'm just going to dip out of this one. I don't have any obvious levels here other than looking at it from yesterday's action and liking that 9. So HX is going to end up working out for us here. But here comes that Novavax one more time.
All right, so we will crash right over now and talk to Trader Prad. So I figured it out. We're going to go over to him and see what you were trading. What up, Prad?
Oh, what's up, guys? I was obviously trading a firm today, as always. I don't know what it is with the firm, but I find the levels pretty easy, or at least easier on the other side compared to other stocks. So today, obviously, we were looking for that 160 level that never came into play. So I took the pre-market bottom break, which I had to cover for a loser, but then I figured let's try to take the short around VWAP because the stock never broke 158 or 159. And then just started scaling around VWAP, and here are my profits on the way down, hoping for 150 to be tested so I could start flipping my short into a long. Obviously, here's my average price and my units per share. So I'm up almost $4 per share on this trade right now. Let's go. Killer risk to reward. The money is pouring in indeed. Back to you guys.
Let's go, Prad. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to throw to you as much as I can. Let's get Prad on the show here more because that Memes and Movers show is pretty hot fire. Great trade there, Prad. And like I said, we talked about that yesterday. You guys asked me, and I gave you that call yesterday on a firm to the downside. But we didn't short it, but I'm sure as hell glad that Prad did. So great trade, my man, on that one. Prad crushing it on the firm short. I know you got NVAX on right now. CEI's right back down near the bottom. We still have a piece of this, so we'll wait to see if it does flush even more, man. I'm still waiting for 94s. I guess that's not going to come in. We'll see about, you know, reloading this short in here. But man, what a big day this has been as Bitcoin still bouncing around that 65. Let's do a quick update here on the poll. So let's click this poll here and see what's going on. 500 votes. The thing about this, there was just more votes a second ago. You have to keep refreshing to see. But look at this, man. It's really tight. Is BTC a sell here? No. Winning right now. So we'll see. 53-46. Still 6 hours left on this vote. But we'll see 500 votes. We'll see where we can go on this one. Let's see if we can push 1 million. If you guys can get this, I'll put it on the poll. If you're joining us for the first time now, welcome. But I just want to see, I'm trying to do a channel check on what basically you guys, the retail clients, think here, what BTC is going, where BTC is going to go recently. So we'll see. I believe it's probably a sell here just because you want to take some profits and then maybe reload it. So do I think it's going to 70? Yes, but I think it's a decent time now to sell a little bit and then get into some altcoins, which is why I did buy some Cardano today at about 211, 212. It's 217 now, but that doesn't really matter. I'm hoping for $3 on that name.
Brendan?
Easier to answer that, I guess, Sean, once it's at 66 as well. Dogness? DOGZ. This is a Chinese holding company that makes dog or pet technology, apparently. Been on quite a run on the daily chart, guys, but up 4% here. Huge volume spike just came in there for dogs.
Dogs? Okay, dogness. I mean, I don't know.
Darkness.
I don't know that one. So we're giving it was a big seller at 137 that just got me to get some shares here for a last ditch in front of that 140 on Novavax. And right now it's trying to hold a bit above it. So I've been trying to go manual on this instead of having like a hard stop because a hard stop can get tricky when you're trading something like this. So it just rejected 137 like 3 times here. And there was someone that just dumped in a big sell order. So it does feel like maybe this is going to be your top. But if we break maybe like a 137.50, I think that's going to be that last ditch, and then you have to really hunt back to 140. So at this point, okay, now I feel a little more comfortable putting a stop in. I just wanted to see the level sort of work itself out there. Now that it has, I'll throw a stop. I feel a little more comfortable doing that. It looks like maybe that was a good out on HX. I want to go back to this name just because it did hold the line here at $9. It bounced back up to $9.50. If this takes out the low, just to keep in mind here, This stock could have a bit of a bid at about 740 to 750. That was the previous time it gapped up and sold all day long like it did here today. That was at 740 and then consolidated and broke that price yesterday, and you got a $2 run. So I'm looking at 740 as an obvious monster level here. It would probably have to halt one, if not two times if it got down to that price, but I'll be interested in at least going long in front of it, so long as I'm not going long in front of a halt. Now I'm into the long again on Alibaba. Yesterday's afternoon's action had a monster buyer at that 177 level. I bought in front of it. Now it's going to retest this barcoding at 176. I can kind of show you instead of staring at it on the wrong chart there. So here's your Alibaba for yesterday's action. I'm just going to watch the 15-minute chart because this is what you had for that chop area. And it's trying to hold up at this level. I'm long essentially in front of it, and it's trying to break down. So Alibaba, I only wanted it for the long side here today. Kind of stinks that I guess the Jack Ma news, which I don't think has anything to do with this, by the way, is going to be a selling point. I'm focused on the fact that they're talking about their cloud expansion, which I think is a good one for them. Right now, trying to hold positive on the session is the key story. So it's barely below that at about 0.25%. It gets to about half, and I think you got to take it off. Was that Brennan?
22andMe, one that is it 22 or 23andMe? 23andMe, sorry. Up again today, guys, 10.3% here. Huge volume coming back into this. We were talking about this, I think, last week as it was getting back to these highs, but another day to the upside. Not seeing anything news-wise for 23andMe, but a nice move once again.
Okay, yeah, so right now, I mean, I'm just, looking at a bunch of different things here. But CEI, again, I think we're okay on this level. Good out. I mean, Tilray, like, see you later. I mean, talk about some good outs. There's Rob. I can get Rob to do it, Lucas, if you want. It doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah, Tilray right now, a nice out for us up on the upside. And we talked about that, getting out, when Tilray rides to the high side. So again, we're holding 5% of this position. So that's that. We talked about getting out of that, and I hope you guys did as well. That would be nice if you did. There goes BlackBerry right back to the bottom, so that was a good hold there. 11.25. We talked about reloading possibly right there at 11.25. I didn't do it. I know Neil was holding that, so that's going to be a good one.
I didn't get any more.
Yeah, but whatever. It's still a good trade. And then Netflix. It's funny that the only loser really that we have on board today, we don't have it on board anymore, is now a $10 winner. As we defended that 622 there. I thought 620 was going to be a super key level. Unfortunately, it goes down to 617, and the rest is history. So now we'll wait to see what happens on Netflix. Again, still down that 1% and a bit, but good positioning there. But again, whatever. I wasn't going to take that hit. So, like, if it went down to 618, I probably would have got out. So, pretty happy with being flat on that name. It's just unfortunate that we made that call and didn't really hold on to it. But there goes Virgin Galactic.
Virgin Galactic's up 2%. So, thank you guys. Again, this is one of the reasons why this is the best community, because you cannot catch everything. And I know we were trading Virgin Galactic on the gap down day, and then the day after missed it yesterday. Well, wasn't interested in any levels yesterday, but a bit of a break to the upside. Look, I think what you're probably getting here is the market's getting a bit of a bounce. You had some meme name movers yesterday catching a bit of a bid, and then you didn't make that fresh low. Like, it held that low when you thought all hell was going to break loose. If it took out 19, it held that low, higher low yesterday, and then just a simple clean breakout. Like, this is just it's forming a bottom at 19, and it's a multi-day break here at essentially 1988 or $20, whichever one you want to call it. Do I still think it's a fade? I mean, yes, but at this point, your levels are way up here. Like, the best that we were getting was at 21 to 21.50. So you kind of have to, I almost feel like you got to wait for at least close to that, like 2070, maybe 2060. I'll sit it out because we're at 2030 now. So you're pretty much on your way there on Virgin Galactic. The breakout was at 20. I don't want to be buying it up here. So I'm going to wait around for it. I don't think there's anything else to do. And speaking of trying to wait, I mean, Tesla, load. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Tesla did make that dip. It is now just holding court. So sometimes there's not a heck of a lot of action or less action than you expect as we anticipate earnings. Maybe that's just going to be the case for Tesla. And that 857 dip, which you can kind of see the level here on the 18th. Maybe that was the only trade to be had, and we're waiting all day for a real move on Tesla. Brendan?
One of the squeeze stocks that popped up late in the day yesterday, Wish, guys, starting to go again. Took out 550 there and straight through to 580. You can see big volume coming back into Wish.
Part of me is like, if one of them starts to go, at least be cautious that yesterday when they all moved lockstep, like they moved up together, They moved down together, and why is this still Tesla? I just went to BlackBerry. Yeah, they moved down together, so I'm going to check back in on BlackBerry, which, oddly enough, is still at the low of the day, so nothing really happening. That's a pretty good sign for that short. It looks like it's only context logic going, but much like yesterday's action, I just feel when there's no catalyst to this, and you don't have it early in the move to the long, I don't see how you can buy this. It's now up 10%. You saw what happened yesterday. It eventually made a move to the downside. So you look for a level, you pop over to the daily chart, which you got to zoom way in to see anything of significance, and you'll come right over to the 50 period here at about 625, and then a recent top before it made that breakdown at 6 even. So 6.25, that's what stands out to me. I'll wait for 6.25 for any trade on context logic. I'm not going long, not going to happen. BABA's making a bit of a pop. I want to be a seller back in front of that 180 level. Right now it's back to essentially flat. So 179, 180, that's our target for Alibaba.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's that. We talked about that earlier, right? Remember I said too far, too fast in Alibaba, but still just in Alibaba. And it was just a big move to the upside there. We talked about that in the pre-market. So, thank you for joining us. Hopefully you continue to join us every day at 8:30 because that move on Alibaba was pretty telegraphed there. I mean, it went all the way up here to 180. I mean, look at this move from 135. It's basically been a week and a half of straight to the upside. So just like we've made some calls in the past, looking at momentum, like we had Macy's yesterday, we called that short. And notice it's not on the board today, right? It had an overextended short long yesterday into this, right? So we shorted yesterday and then cashed out. Was $1 and change. One of my best trades yesterday was on Macy's. We had a bunch. And talk about a good trade yesterday was DraftKings. We brought this name to you guys yesterday at $50 as a short. So DraftKings yesterday was absolutely fantastic, and I'm very, very worried. I want to see what that Entain deal is all about. They extended that, so we'll see here what's going to happen. But right now, DraftKings kind of just hovering around here. I don't know what's doing. The 20-minute chart looks pretty dead. DraftKings is a no-fly zone for me right now. Doesn't have any sense to it. So I'm going to wait till this either gets to 50 or, Baba lost on the way down. Too far, too fast. Yeah, Goldman for sure. That's why I was able to, but didn't dip any more into Baba. Should have there at about a 140-ish to get a better average price, but I did not. So that's that play. We could check in on something I bought recently. That was PayPal, PYPL. I did get out of that Magna, but Magna's flat. So right back to where I got in at. So we take a little bit of a hit on that MG. We talked about selling that. We did buy PayPal at 260. That's starting to work a little bit. Let's check out on Nucor just to talk about some of the positions that we've recently bought. Wow. Okay, Nucor. Yes, sir. That's a good one, man. We bought Nucor at $95 here the other day, so that was great. Like, talk about switching up. It was just way too, look, it's still my number one stock is Google, and my number two is Microsoft on the long term, but I didn't have much exposure to some of these industrials, so we find the best steal out there, Nucor, and buy that. So we bought that right here back into this 95, so that's a nice 104 bump. Still looking to get some out if we get up to like 110 or so on the infrastructure deal, so that is Nucor.
So, what I was going to say in the chat here, but Scott H. saying, look at HUT 8. I'm watching it spike to the upside here. I'm always pretty cautious with the notion with some of these mining companies when they start to go to the upside and you're breaking fresh highs here. There's a different type of momentum that goes into a move like this that it's just hard to fight it. So I want to stay, I tend to stay away from shorting them. I think for the long side of the trade, if you catch them on the break, you wait for the reversal and spot, and you can now watch, you can watch our new ETF there for that momentum. And normally this would be a setup for a bit of a short trade reversing through 13 even, but we are at fresh highs at 66,000 and change here, and that makes it a little bit difficult to make that kind of a play. So that's the only reason I tend to stay away from those ones. It's just, like I said, it's a different type of momentum. There was a big push there on context logic. I was saying BlackBerry, I want to watch out if it goes. It's now put in another support down at that 11 even. I can show you on the 1 minute chart. It's bounced off this level one more time. I don't want this thing getting back above 1125 here. So, if it retests 1125 and falls down, I think it's probably a short at a lower high. If it breaks back into the upside, I might take profit out and just look to still short, 50s, 60s, all the way up to 12 even. Another retest of this top end level on Novavax. It didn't quite hit the stop. So this could be it. I actually put a stop in, and after it retraced, it got close to break even, and now looks like it wants to take the high again. So Novavax is gone. But watch out for some of these other meme names. I mean, if BlackBerry's going to make a bottom, when Context Logic wants to go, we saw what happened yesterday. You don't want to get caught with your pants down if 4 or 5 of these start to go at once.
Yes, sir. Never caught with your pants down, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, it's exactly. If you're down with that, then no problem. Right now, good call on that. And I don't know if marijuana names are going to be part of that group or not, because of course they're not. I mean, they're heavily shorted for different reasons than something like a context logic or anything. But we're going to watch out to see if that can move here at all. Tilray on some of that news. Again, makes that bottom at 11. Debating picking that up again if that move goes through one more time. So I just, watching this level, not too sure what we want to do here with Tilray, as it's a little stronger than I thought it may be today at this 11 area. I thought once we got down here it may break it, but so far so good. Holding that 11 spot, that's where we're long 11.10, and it's been holding that 11. So I don't really want to get back in, but it's given us some nice moves. That's Tilray today. But right now, Brendan, small cap recap. I don't think we trade this one. LMDX, let's go.
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time. Few of them moving around in the pre-market here. We talked about this one just before the open. I mentioned this 1080 was support in the pre-market. It broke actually before the open, so it was already pretty broken as we headed into the open there. It did give you an opportunity to get back in around 1050 versus that 1080. And then this is a huge range, by the way. This is a dollar move to the downside here. That's 950, and then now we're down around 9, heading into the 8s probably for LMDX. So volume kind of dying off on that one, but was already broken as we headed through to the open. BBIG, yeah, pretty easy to spot that resistance area once it broke. Gave you a long opportunity, but not much follow through here, guys, for BBIG so far. Kind of just chopping around within its range to the upside at this point. And TRKA, tried this one twice. This one was a little bit strange. There was a massive bid that showed up, like 150,000. Instantly got filled. They filled the entire thing a couple of times on the way down here. So I got out of the way of that buyer because it was monstrous, but trying to come back up here now for that one as well, guys. Back over to you.
So usually it's good when we come back from Brendan. It'll be mixed because I just got stopped out of Novavax when it took out the top, and it might have been top wick. We'll see. I might go to that 140 level. We're trying to get back into VWAP here on Alibaba. Was able to take a little bit off. It's about to get to that 179. So I'll take one more leg off. I still think you can get back to that 180 level. The previous support turning to resistance and vice versa. So 180 is going to stand out for us. We gap through it. We'll see what happens. BBIG, which I was looking for a reload at BBIG. And remember I said I wanted it to consolidate down at 670. You're going to see it essentially bounce off that original 671 breakout. And there was no chance to get it. Like I wanted consolidation. There was absolutely none. Like it just bounced off that level, headed right back to 7 even. So it looks like it's still marching towards the upside, still holding on to a little bit, but that was definitely a missed opportunity to get some BBIG. Like if you're just sitting in front of it on the bid, it tags you in at 71, 72, and then you've got it. You don't have to worry about things. But unfortunately, that's not the way I decided to play it. I keep checking back in on BlackBerry. It's still at 11.11, but context logic, wish, making that press again. So I know $6 is usually, it's psychological, it's an even number. 625 is where I think the resistance on the chart looks like. But if you look at 6 even here, it's about 250,000 shares. Like it's not nothing on context logic. It's probably enough, for that notion of like, okay, like it runs into that price. Like I can scroll down and see it. Anyone with a level 2 can scroll and be able to see that level. But every now and then, you gravitate towards a price like that, and then suddenly it's on the level 1, or it gets like a couple of levels away, like at 97, 98, and turns away from it. So on that notion, I might try a trade 98, 99 short for a quick scalp trade. I do still think 625 on the daily looks a little bit bigger of a level, but hey, $250,000. Maybe if it sees it on the offer, you get a quick scalp.
All right, Fisker's down. We can look at, so CEI, we tried to get some more out there. We didn't, unfortunately, as it comes all the way back up. We were bidding down here. We didn't get any more out there. Apple testing 150 right now. So, what a great story this has been here on the rebound upside. When you can sell a cloth for $19, you're going to, create some excitement there. So whether or not, you're going to buy one or not, they're sold out. So 149.80 right now, the high for Apple. And looking at a 20-minute chart, good bar coding here at 148.50. So we can identify that. If you're long Apple, you have some outs here. A 148 break would get you out. So that, again, nice movement here. We could check out on BITO to see what that's been doing today. I mean, obviously with Bitcoin starting to go, remember, this is not going to track Bitcoin itself. It's the future price of Bitcoin. So, and you can't look at 3% versus Bitcoin because, again, Bitcoin's a 24-hour market, right? So let's go over to Brendan and see what he's talking about.
I just saw this note on Shopify and Spotify, guys. So Shopify going to have a new merch channel on Spotify that it will allow artists to engage listeners with more than just typical merch, apparently. But not really much of a reaction there. There was volume that came in when that came out. But yeah, Spotify not really doing much.
We were talking about Bitcoin just quickly. 4,000 on Ethereum just broke. So
just now,
yeah, straight to the upside. But again, nice move. We started the day at about 38.50, up to 4K now on Ethereum. An unbelievable run in the crypto markets right now. Cardano 220.
And just so you know, I put it in the chat because I just saw this. There was an iceberg on Context Logic at $5.91. So like I said, it's worth a shot. If you're day trading and you have direct market access, it's the kind of thing like you'll do this trade like it's 98s, 97s and try and get some money. I only got a quarter out there on that 90 in front of that 91 level. And I am on the bid just a little bit lower to take some more shares out, maybe even hold some for 580. But when you do this type of a trade, like essentially the notion is to risk 3, 4, 5 cents, and then start making profits once it gets you in the money, like 4, 5, 6 cents, and then further down. So that's the idea. It's going to come right back up to the 6th level. A lot of times, with an iceberg like that, it's probably primed to just take out this level here. So that's what it does. There's the stop out. If it does a failed break, like, you give it like a 10, 15, 20-second count, or if you can't see the bid come up here, which it's struggling to go past 01s, then it can be a bit of a re-entry right back into that 91, and then you're sort of rinsing and repeating. I do, like I said, prefer 625 as a bit of a resistance to your 50 period. There was a lot of consolidation at that price, so that would still have potentially trapped some 6 longs, although it's not much of a trap because they would have made money. So I am looking for that as a primary or even a better entry point to a trade, but you're still getting the possible rejection. Forget about it now. I was about to say you're still getting the possible rejection as a bid couldn't hold a 1s and 2s. Now it makes that second push to 05, so I can back off, not have fingers on the trigger for a retake of 6 even, and wait around for 625 on Context Logic. I did get that second leg out on Alibaba, so as much as I'm hating on Novavax, which by the way is getting close to that 140 level. We'll see what happens when it gets there. Probably me trying it one more time. Alibaba does break back towards 180. This is VWAP right here. It's consolidating at 179. So I'm looking for 180 as the last out. That's where our first long we took the hit, like a 180.60 trade. When it broke 180, we got out of that one. I'll get out if it gets back into 180. I'm not really anticipating the Alibaba. I mean, it could. Like Alibaba could totally go, back through the high of the day at 182.50. I just sort of look at this move, the last couple of days and say to myself, you get this 180 level, big monster level on the daily chart, retakes it and immediately reclaims it after a gap up. I'm not thinking you're going to push too far past it here today. It's been such a good run. Like you're 135 to 180 at this point, bottom to top on this move without a significant pullback. So I'm not going to put it all on the line saying you're going to get much more than a couple of dollars more out of this trade. If we get 250, I'll be perfectly happy to take this.
Yeah, exactly. Alibaba, nice little bounce to the backside right now. Just noticing Ford, someone brought to our attention. So yeah, we'll go. That was a good idea getting long Ford. But now we're going to be shorted against this 16. We saw yesterday, not yesterday, a couple days ago when we tipped at 16, we broke through 16 and then sort of resisted a little bit. So that's kind of the levels that we're looking at right now on Ford here, 16 and change. I'm going to go short into this 16. I fully expect it to break. We're going to take, I don't expect it to break, but now that it's here, I do. And we'll see what happens. We're going to test that 605 again. We'll take another short at that level, and then basically we'll just let it scream to see how high it wants to go off that level right now. So that's going to be what we're looking at right now on Ford. We'll see if it comes back up. We'll test it there, short one more time, and then we'll see if it can pull back. But right now, that's Ford looking not so short right now, but a nice little win for us to the upside, up 4% now on Ford, but it's a new position alert. We are going short on Ford to see if we can get a little bit of a retracement because we've already been up here. So that's really part of the reason why I like this on Ford. We've tested already. We'll see if it's going to make a double top here. We'll see if we get some play back down to 1585, something like that. But on the minute chart, That's the daily chart. So on the minute chart, just been straight fire to the upside there. So we'll see what happens here. We are short 97s.
Yeah, there you go. We've been forward on the move for sure. I keep checking back in on Tesla to see if anything crazy is happening. Not a heck of a lot, but that context logic. Someone just asked what my thoughts were, but I just gave some. But it since has changed. I mean, it didn't get to 625. It just turned around here and back below 6 even. That's your first real on volume, sort of capitulation or I guess pullback candle that you want to see, and it's back through 6. I think at this point, if you short like 99s, 97s like we were before and give it to the high, that 12s, that doesn't present you with a fantastic trade. A lower high here off of 607 might not be the worst. I'm going to sit it out. So it looks relatively strong. Going to hang on to the trades that we have in for right now. Thank you for the super chat on AEHR. I'm not sure what to see there, so I'll bring it up because it got mentioned, and it's a stock that it was AEHR, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it was AEHL. Sorry. Okay, well, AEHR is one I know from before, but AEHL not doing absolutely nothing here, pretty much exactly flat. So I mean, hey, you got me to bring it up here for the super chat, but thank you for all the super chats. But I don't see anything happening on this stock.
Yeah. Sometimes they just want us to call it up. But again, yeah, thank you for the super chat. It means a lot to us anyways. We're still holding on to that BBIG here as it's still trying to go, but it's just hanging around $7. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm still trying to think about a higher trade on that one right now. Starbucks, I see some people talking about Starbucks a little bit there, 115. We brought this name up to you yesterday when it was 113 there for Starbucks. So yeah, it looks like it's trying to go as well. Big time movement. I mean, I think again, a rebound in China. We talked about that a little bit, that if there was going to be a rebound in China, then Starbucks probably got hit. Their numbers were never really that bad. So you have a high of 126 back down here to 110. That's a good name to look at, obviously, some of these Chinese names as well. I mean, you're on BABA right now, so that's been a big run for BABA for everything. AMC, man, damn it. This is on our sticky note. It's on our sticky note for 39.50 long. How low did we get today? We didn't get that low. Yeah, 40 and change, but AMC rocking up 2%. That's a good day for AMC. Let's see if it can hold that 40 level. That's what's important. What's up, Brendo?
If you remember in the pre-market, guys, we saw crude oil was down 1.5%, I think it was at one point down here, but nice reversal again. Still negative on the day, but back to the upside. Exxon just out, Wall Street Journal saying they're going to abandon or thinking about abandoning some of their biggest oil and gas projects for XOM. I noticed they were trying to get back to positive territory as well. It's 10:30. Let's get a check on how things in Europe are shaping up. Miss V, what's up?
Hey Brandon, European markets are pretty flat. Nestle trading in Switzerland is up more than 3% on an outlook after strong coffee sales. Back to you.
Guys, coming up in 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be a really interesting conversation. Jason Drummond, founder, CEO of Game Tech, coming through from the online gaming casino side of things industry. So interesting name, Game Tech, coming up in about 15 minutes, guys.
Good look there. I can't wait for that one. I mean, I'm sure Trader Pratt will be interested in that as well. Vinco Ventures, we talked about it not consolidating at 670, just touching it and running. Now you're getting back towards this 720 level here where, why is that still on CVX? I was just looking at, Brendan mentioned oil and I was looking at CVX, so that's why some of my charts are on CVX there. So pardon me. Yeah, there we go. BBIG, you're going to get this 720 level that we showed you guys. Here's my 15-minute chart. If it breaks through this, I mean, now you've got essentially a double top that could form here at 720, which you can hang on to your long that you already have, or if you're looking for a place to add or even get into it, you get a nice little 720 double top, and you could catch a break that could fill in this gap. Now, 750 is yesterday's wick bottom, and then you have 765, which is more like a support bottom down there, which could be a target on that breakout. Both of those look pretty interesting to me. So BBIG, Vinco, could form. It's not there yet. We still need to hold above 7 even, make a test at the high, consolidate, let it work itself out, and then you get your top end break here. And it's worth noting that 720, it kind of took it by 1 cent and came back in here. So if you're being technical about it, your break is 721. I think that's splitting hairs, but 721 is the current high.
Like never ever have I been happier to lose on a trade than I am right now on Ford. This name just keeps on rocking, man, to the upside. So we take that at another trade right now at 04, giving us an average price of O's. So we're going to give this up to 16.10. If it takes out 10s, then I just got to make sure I have that order in. Yes, I do. So we take out 10s and we will be gone out of this name. So Ford taking out 10, we're gone. We'll lose that 10 cents on this name. But again, super happy with it. Just thought that, we try not to trade our book. And, I traded a little bit, obviously, but this is it's been up here before, and I can't give it to the high of 1660 or whatever that was, 1650-ish. So I'm not going to do that. I mean, it's shorting a strong stock like a Ford, not suggested. We're just playing it off of that 1605 area, which I thought was going to be something, was the wick a couple days ago there. So that's, here it is. We can call up the 20-minute chart. You can look at it the best right there. So we're playing off that high. We're right there right now. Let's see if it does pull back. I'm hoping it does, but again, 605 is going to be the out. Beyond Meat also, man. It's not moving that much, but it's back to 108. So I almost think that, AMD went down to $100 and then bounced. And the same thing happening right now for Beyond Meat. If you could see off the 20-minute chart, it's been a nice little couple days for Beyond Meat. Again, whether or not you like the name or not, it's been a big, there's the $100 defend right there. And then if you took on a daily chart for Beyond Meat, I mean, it just goes back. And that's why this name is interesting to me. I don't know if I like it longer term, but that's a nice bounce there. Definitely on the way down. So I don't like this name, but there's something to that $100 bounce, guys.
Yeah, and there's something too, and I'm going to shout it again to Peloton, that look in that call this morning. And sometimes you have to find these ones early. I didn't love it because of the volume here. I kind of wish I moved to the top of my list. I came in today and this will always happen to me. And if I find a mover like in Novavax, I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to trade that thing. And then that gets me away from a firm, which would be like a standard play. Anyways, it's going to happen. I'll be down on Novavax and probably won't make it back unless 140 turns out to be a fantastic failed break, which has yet to be seen. But look at Novavax. Look at Peloton on that daily. Just one more time here. Higher low, holds 81. You're consolidating right up towards this 90 potential breakout. You have room to the 50 period. You have room to previous support here at 96. And then on the 15-minute chart, it looks just as gorgeous. It's got your higher low. It's got everything for that breakout trade at 90 even. And even a small $2 or $3, even if it doesn't get to that 96 level on the daily, you're still looking at a $2, $3 breakout style trade. I just wish the volume had been there to convince me to make it, but it's a great look. And the kind of thing you want to see, when the market pulls back, you want to catch those consolidation breakouts because they can be fantastic from a risk to reward standpoint. Checking back in on context logic, because I know a lot of people keep asking or looking at this stock, doesn't make that push to give you an 05, 010 lower high, which I would have preferred. It's right here at $6 that it looks like it's trying to hold out for that range. So I don't really see a setup that I can make sense of. I still want to see it press to 625. You short in front of 6 even. What are you doing? Stopping at 6 even right here? That's ridiculous. Stopping at 612. I don't know, that's 15 cents worth of risk when you factor in potential slippage, and then you have a potential support at 582, so that's 1-to-1. I don't like that at all. So I'm going to stay away from context logic. Hold BABA, hold BlackBerry. BBIG, we're holding out for that 720, maybe consolidate and break back up to the upside one more time. And then Novavax, there's only one way I'm getting back into this, which I've already said. I want to fail break at 140. I want to see it convincingly. There wasn't a tiny wick, some dark pool printing above 140. That didn't convince me. It was a little bit of a volume spike. I want a little bit more. I want longs trapped. I shorted off the levels on the way up, but that wasn't really trapping longs. If anything, the shorts got trapped there. And at this point, you can trap some longs on a 140 break, which is a much better entry. And at this time of day, people that went long at 120 or in front of 120 or start thinking about where they want to take profits out, so that can give you some momentum to the downside as well. So waiting for that to happen, got to be very patient with it because Novavax has been strong. It was down 24%. Now we're down 13%, so strong move for Novavax.
Thank you, not Tyrone Biggums, but Tyrionaire there. Thank you so much. I know I pronounced that wrong. I think it was a gaming thing. I did it with Prad before. But Netflix, man, it's going to be the only spot that we have on board here that's going to be a negative name for us today. And it was completely right. But it's just, again, having discipline, having your levels. Thank you for the call out there, as Netflix was a great spot there at 620. It just took us out a little bit. And that's the problem when you're into these earnings plays real early. And I think, you know, now that we're in earnings season, I already have a strategy. I'm gonna work these a little differently now. And I'm gonna wait for these plays instead of like averaging into them, because if you're wrong, you get smoked. But if I just waited and took that 620 break back to the upside, then we have a $16 winner right now. So, you know, we gotta wait for, well, $14. So we gotta wait for that, because, you know, let it settle down. Then when it breaks the 620 right there, it rips up, guys, 7 straight dollars there on Netflix. So that's, I mean, now, look, again, it's amazing that I can sit in front of the screen now for literally 20 years, and you're still coming up with new ideas, right? And I think that's why I love this job, and that's why, you know, continue to sort of mold what you're doing until you find a spot where you sort of really know what your game plan is going to be. And on that note, man, it's Weed Batman is back in the building, and I didn't realize this because that's one of the coolest graphics I think that we've ever had, as well as that one, Weed Batman. I had Valeria Batman on here, but I've redone my things. I have to find that. But there it goes, man. And we talked about buying Tilray down at 11, and this one's on me. I didn't have that much conviction there. If you did, then great. And congratulations. And there it goes again, man. Hitting home runs there. Congratulations. The Dodgers took one yesterday. Houston took one. So that's going to be very interesting to see on the road to the World Series right
Houston,
now. But yeah, I mean, the Red Sox, Houston, that's going to be a great series. 2-2 now, I think, right? 11:40, 11:45. So again, a nice move up here on Tilray. I mean, we're just bringing in that money today, as it's been for a while. So good trading. Alibaba on the way back up as well. The only thing is right now, looks like we're getting very, very close to being stopped out here on Ford, as there's CEI. So we'll spin the money again. Look at that. That's why you got to wait, man. We're waiting at these levels. Cash out again here on CEI. Wow. Big day. About to get even better because Brendan's going to be on the screen.
Hey guys, yeah, let's have a look at the S&P 500 here. It is nicely positive right now, 0.45 to the upside. So lots of positivity on the board, but not huge moves. We are seeing individual names kind of leading the way. We talked about Ford there, 4.4%. GM being dragged along too, 2.3% for GM. It's hard to tell, but that little one there is Tesla in the corner, also in positive territory. Retailers, consumer durables, both in positive territory. Some of the online traveling type companies in negative territory, Booking.com, Expedia, to name a few. CCL, though, back to the upside. We talked about Starbucks there, 1.25. Caesars, Domino's as well to the downside. So a little bit of offsetting going on. Utilities, very, very strong, leading the way, in fact, to the upside so far today, along with the materials sector, real estate stocks as well in positive territory. Wanted to point out the energy group. I don't see it at the moment, but maybe on this side. We'll talk about energy stocks. There was the oil inventory numbers as well. Bigger drawdown than expected, so crude did get to positive territory. We mentioned consumer discretionaries. Here's a healthcare group. There was multiple earnings reports in this group. So a lot of them, you know, going to be better than expected. Pharmaceuticals and the equipment makers leading the way so far. Financials to the downside today, only because of these kind of 3 or 4 stocks right here. Everything else you can see in this group nicely higher, including the individual banks and insurance companies. So some offsetting happening, guys. So only 0.43 to the upside, but very positive looking board. Back over to you.
Yes, it is. Not a heck of a lot of red on that board. And look, gun to my head, I'm just choosing Boston because I can't cheer for the Astros. At least not for a few years. I have to give some years to recover from the incidents that you guys all know about. Someone asked about Caterpillar, which is interesting because I haven't talked about that in a few days. But it just broke the 50 period here. You're going to see it up 1.1%. It's outpacing the market a little bit, but you know, you got that round off bottom. I just sort of feel like this is a similar style breakout. I think we mentioned this maybe a couple of days ago that you can wait if you want. Candidly, I didn't. I'm already in Caterpillar from last year. But you can wait on some of these to make their breaks, right? Instead of always catching it off the bottom, allow it to break back above. You know, hold a 200 level, hold a 205, march up to the 200 or find a higher consolidation level. You don't always have to pick bottoms, especially if your time horizon is long enough. You know, it might not matter too much if you're getting it on momentum at 205, and at least at that point, like if you have a short duration time frame, at least you're saying to yourself, if you wanted an out, you kind of know where it's going to be. Whereas if you're just always buying into those dips, which is easier to do in the long term when you want to hold forever, you're not looking for an out. But if you are looking for an out on some of your trades, then waiting for it to break up does give you a little bit more of a concrete level to where you might know you're going to be a bit wrong. So anyways, just pointing out Caterpillar is making a breakout, not like Peloton, because obviously a very, very different company. Let's get that out of the way here. Someone did ask a little bit earlier, maybe it was actually Brendan talking about Coinbase now that I mention it, but we are still really at 666, yeah, 66,600. That's, I just randomly looked over on Binance, by the way, just at 66,600.
Yeah,
so that's a little bit weird. I only check it every few minutes or so, and that's the price that we see. But Coinbase trying to continue its breakout nonetheless. This is going to be a double top here at 315. You're at highs of the day. This is a little bit tricky. Later on in the session, yesterday was a fantastic short off of a double top. This is like all in the morning. Like the double top short that we had on Coinbase was in the afternoon retesting that high. So I don't like it at this time of day. If we hold this 315, we don't make a fresh high through 666 here. Now it's 66.6. I'm looking at 5 sixes in a row now on Binance. That's ridiculous. But if we hold this high of the day on Bitcoin, hold 315, I think at Power Hour you'll probably see me come into a 315 short, or might have already have it on. But I wouldn't put that on just now as I'm watching spot prices creep higher. We just broke, so we're still headed higher. I don't like that notion of shorting it here. But later on in the day, same setup as yesterday could come into play here on Coinbase.
Yeah, keep watching Coinbase as that's been a big mover into that, and I'm super happy as a holder of Coinbase. I want to keep that stock for a bit, even a bit more than this. I think there's a lot of business opportunities there for Coinbase that they haven't even unleashed yet. So, excuse me. Ford, we have Hydration Nation beside us. Ford, happy. I mean, it's going to be a loser, so we'll stamp a big fail on this, but wow, Ford. Again, happy to lose on this one because we have it in our own account, but still, we're trying to make winners. We thought that would go here, so I'm happy to lose where our average price was 16. Look, 11 cents on Ford. Okay, we'll lose that, but again, off to the races there. And why did we short Ford, you may wonder? Because of this top right there. Just thought this was way too fast, but a great move for Ford. Now it's probably coming back in, so maybe shorting that top might have been something, but I don't know if I want to stand in the way of this futures market today. The NASDAQ is straight to the upside, and here's the ES today, just creeping along. So I don't know. On any dips, I actually want to buy some Wells Fargo, I think. I want to get some more bank exposure as the inflation trade, could start to kick in. And we do know, obviously, that, inflation is nowhere to be found. It's to be found right now, but not in the markets. Not in the markets. But right now, WFC, on some sort of a tightening policy, which we know is going to be coming, unfortunately, for everybody, I guess. Tightening is coming. So we'll wait to see on WFC here. Darn, can't look at that chart. But on a 20-minute, we're a little high up here. Nice earnings report from WFC. We know that. Bottom ticked at 44, now up to $50. A little bit of a drop down here, 48s, 47s. If the market does pull back, WFC is a name I want to get into. I'm already long JP Morgan, but that's the only bank I'm in, so I need some more exposure.
Canadian banks.
Oh, no, I'm in Canadian
banks.
No,
I knew the answer. That's why I only pointed out. It's like every single Canadian probably owns some of the banks, and you probably own at least one of the energy companies, and it's probably Enbridge. There's not a heck of a lot to invest in. If you own, you probably own some Shopify too. If it's like you like something for the tech and growth space, it's just there's not a lot. Look, there's a lot of good mining companies, none of which I'm invested in. So shout out, man. Maybe Goldman or somebody's out there. Like any mining companies, I'm always looking at. It's nothing I've ever played before, so I'm always interested there. I want to come to Alibaba. I know we're about to have a fantastic interview in just moments away, I do believe. But Alibaba now range bound at the top, and here's the adjustment I'm going to make, because I was sitting right in front of that 180 to take the last out, right? You spiked up to 179.67, now a lower high getting put in. So, and again, this is just to be candid about what I see here. I'm not going to split hairs over an extra 30 or 40 cents. If I thought that this 180, and I'm going to show you Yeah, here we go. This is like the 15-minute chart. And then I can go to the daily chart to see that 180 level. If I think that's where the resistance is going to be, and then I pop to my 1 minute, I see it kind of fall shy of that, pull back into that 178, which was our first leg out, and then we make a bit of a range here for consolidation. I can just get out, take the profit. I'll be happy because the first trade was a loser. I didn't catch the absolute bottom. I got the consolidation dips, but missed the break back up. So it's not a perfect trade. And I'm not going to try to make it a perfect trade on the way up either. So forget about 180, take it off 30 or 40 cents shy of that. If it wants to make a breakout later in the day, the 180 presents you with a break. You now have a low at 176, where I can play that 177 in front of it. So there's lots of trades we can do after that fact. And by the way, finally the 140 break on Novavax, so I'm back into that. As we head over to our guest of the day, time to go to the desk with Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, thanks so much. We are happy, as we said, to have Gaming Technologies with us today, business-to-business company in the online gaming and casino space that develops and builds brands through their state-of-the-art platform that we're going to touch on today. We're so happy to have Jason Drummond, founder and CEO of the company, with us to tell us a little bit more, not only about Gaming Technologies, but Jason, first off, thanks to you for doing this today. It's great to have you. Your background specifically, very interesting in already having success bringing multiple different companies to market. Tell us a little bit about Gaming Technologies.
So thank you, Brandon. Yeah, my background, I've built a number of tech businesses, mostly in Europe over the last 20 years. My first public company was an internet service company called Virtual Internet VI, which I listed in the UK in 98, did a main market listing in 2000. It's pretty successful, and I have a background in domain names. So domain names feature quite a lot in a lot of the businesses that I do. In the mid 2000s, I built gambling.com into the pretty much the US's biggest gambling site. It was an affiliate marketing business. Again, it was a public company. And more recently, just before Game Tech, I built a company called FairFX. It's now known as Equals Group. Basically, it's a challenger bank in the UK. We have over 1 million customers, direct to consumer, very successful. Again, a public company in the US. Game Tech, well, it's a global online gambling software and operations company that builds brands around our cloud-based gaming platform. So yeah, that's what I'm now focused on.
All right, let's talk about scalability here, Jason, because it's going to be important not only for this company, but in this space in general. What is it about Gaming Technology that kind of sets it apart from others maybe in this group or in this space when it comes to the ability to kind of scale this up?
Yeah, so the business model is really all about scaling quickly. Game Tech has developed a highly scalable operating platform and a very flexible business model that allows us to achieve big market share and revenue generation very, very quickly. So we basically benefit from having very high margins, and we basically sign access deals with local licensed partners, which gives us a fast access to new markets, which we can then scale very quickly. Adding lots and lots of players through a global advertising deal we have with WPP Group. So, for example, in Mexico, we signed a deal with a Big Bowler, which is the second biggest casino group in Mexico. It's one of, I think, 14 licenses in the country, 160 million people there. And we signed up in a matter of months, 100,000 players onto the platform. And we have a lot of experience and skill in player acquisition. And as we mentioned, the actual platform itself it's all cloud-based on AWS. It's very, very cost effective to run. It scales incredibly quickly. So this whole business is being built for scale, high margin. The business model, it's all about acquiring a lot of players as quickly as we can and getting to as many markets as we can through those access deals.
Let's talk about a few of those. You mentioned a couple of them there, but some big names coming on board here, including a deal with Playboy, which we talk about almost on a daily basis now. Because of the NFT space, bear with me or stay with me here. PLBY obviously going to be a popular symbol here. So tell us about the deal with Playboy over in India.
Yeah, so obviously Playboy is an iconic brand, and certainly in in certain markets, India and Africa, it's incredibly well known. So the issue here for a gaming business like ours is, do we build a new brand? Do we work with existing brands? And it's really all about, can we acquire players more cost effectively? And we believe, for example, we've signed a deal with Playboy. It's a direct consumer deal. It's a revenue share, which is one of the first revenue share deals that Playboy have signed. Typically, they just do licensing deals. And it's for the Indian market, which is huge. We're launching a Playboy branded game at the end of this year in Rummy initially, which is a huge game in India. And yeah, we're very excited about working with them. They're fantastic companies to work with, obviously iconic brand, and we hope we'll extend this into other markets in time. But it's all really about enabling us to acquire players cost effectively, and that brand obviously helps us to do that.
And a huge market still, ever growing and ever kind of shaping over in India. Let's take a little bit of a look forward here, Jason. What can investors, what can people looking at the company, looking at the stock, be, expecting in the next, let's go out maybe 6 months to a year?
Well, there's a lot going on. We listed on OTCQB, the ticker's GMGT, a few months ago. We are obviously very aggressively growing the business, seeking new licenses in Latin America, particularly. We signed a deal with Canelo, who's a very famous Mexican boxer. In fact, he's fighting in Las Vegas in November. He's our global partner, both for Latin America and the US. We have an exclusive deal with him for sportsbook and also for casino. And that again helps us with the Valle brand that we created, that he effectively promotes in Latin America. He's helping us to basically expand that brand very aggressively in Latin America, which is super exciting. We've talked about working with Playboy initially in India. We also like the idea of the US market, specifically in the States, where there's a high percentage of Spanish speakers, as we want to extend the new Valle brand into those markets. Obviously, we're building out the Valle brand in Latin America, so that's super exciting. But if you know my background, you'll understand I'm got a good background in scaling these types of businesses, a lot of experience in acquisition of customers and players, and corporately we have some pretty big plans as well, which I guess will unfold over the next few weeks.
We said on the OTC QB, guys, check out GMGT. Go to gametech.com for more info. Jason Drummond, founder and CEO, we appreciate your time today. Thanks for doing this. There we go.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Brendan.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay, guys, on that, if you didn't know. GMGT, as I said, on the OTC.
You have the Canelo Alvarez, man.
Yeah, some big names there.
Canelo Alvarez is a magician. Look, I understand, Floyd he's one of the GOATs, obviously, but Canelo, man,
Tyson Fury.
From an entertainment standpoint, just watching Canelo box, the guy is a beast, man. I love the power. I love a lot about his game, though. So that's just me going to geek out for a little bit here. But I wanted to quickly go over something because Jude, we were just talking about this on Novavax, right? If I'm shorting on the initial pop-up, that's a rollover, average into consolidation, stop it out, take it farther away from the level. I do the same thing at that 135. But when that 140 comes along, and I was sort of mentioning here, on a failed break type of notion where you're okay, break 140, now it's trapping people. I'm shorting right below that level with a stop at the recent high. So it's going to look really, really tight, but there's a reason why these stops will look ridiculously tight for a stock that has a $25 range. One, when you're taking that trap trade, if you let it go past the high of the day instead of longs being trapped, you are the trapped one. That's why it's a tight stop there. And then two, I'm always trying to put these trades on so that no matter what, if the next level is a 150 and retraces, it only goes to 140. Or if this curl here goes to VWAP, or if that 140 goes to VWAP, or if this 132 area goes back into this 122. Each of those moves, well, not the first one because I wouldn't be down on it, but each one of those moves, you want to be able to turn green from a risk management standpoint. You want to be able to turn green without having to put on more shares or a larger position, right? Some traders will say, okay, well, if you like it, just keep going back in, paper cut, and just go bigger each time, doubling down in craps or whatever game you want to play. I guess I should say
roulette.
Roulette would make more sense, right? That works, and eventually you just win because it's you keep doubling down. I would rather form the trade so that all it has to do is one more setup, and it goes to a reasonable retracement point that fits my standpoint, that fits my trade plan, and then you can be green without having to put on more size. So that's why I'm not going to be doing anything till it gets to 150 level, because I can pull that off at 149 or so back into 141. So that's what I'll wait for here, but really, really tight stop on that trade at 140, because either you've trapped longs on a breakout or you haven't, and it makes a fresh high and you haven't. So therefore, you just have to really get out, and a tight stop is what it is. If it falls from there, you got to be able to live with it, but that's going to be that particular setup, always to that high. Brendan's got, I don't know if we have any earnings left, but is that Brendan?
There should be lots of earnings.
Indeed. One of the biggest days of the week, guys, as far as earnings to come, both aftermarket tonight and tomorrow morning.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked, yeah, I mean, this is why we knew there was going to be some kind of earnings coming through, as Tesla's going to be a big boy there. Wow. Okay. Check out Crocs. I mean, I know that Miss V is all about Mr. Bieber, and he's supporting those Crocs. So we'll watch out for that. CSX. I mean, there's oil names. There's everything. There's my Nucor there. There's lots of stuff on there that we'll look at. Valero. Is that Las Vegas Sands? Yes, that is. Wow. Okay, so
IBM and AT&T. I said Lamb out of the corner of my mouth there because you guys probably all know ASML. You probably know AMAD in the chip supply area, but Lamb is another good one as well. So it's a pretty expensive stock, but that's a good bellwether for what's going on in the chip space. So you want to watch that one very closely. Even if you're not going to trade it, you want a positive number from them, and you want them to do well if you're looking at your Nvidias, your AMCs, and you're looking at the chip sector. So wow, there's a heck of a lot to look at. Obviously, everyone loves Tesla. Speaking of Tesla. Our foremost Tesla trader, I have no trades on it today, foremost Tesla expert, thank you for the correction, is going to let us know what national day it is and if she traded Tesla today. Miss V?
Oh, thank you, Neil. I'm so glad to hear it because Tesla bringing me money today. Well, guys, join Memes and Movers right after to find out more about my and Prad's trades. Thank you very much for spending this morning with us. I hope you're having a great day. Please make sure you like this video, guys. Let's make the likes great again, and happy National Chicken and Waffles Day, everyone.
hard to complain about chicken and waffles. We love us some chicken and waffles. Neil, you a chicken and waffle guy?
Come on, son. Come on, son.
That's going to be a yes. I think Brennan's not there, so we can't really ask him anything, but shout out to Brennan. I know that he would like chicken. Hey, Brennan, how's it going there? Where did Brennan go anyways? What was the urgency there? He gone. Okay, so thanks to Brennan for another great interview, of course, and he gone right now, so hopefully he didn't quit on us, but he'll be back. Look, chicken and waffles, obviously great. You know, have that breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, whenever you want. Chicken and waffles, very, very tasty.
It's like the go-to. If you're gonna have like breakfast for dinner, like that's the way to go. It can be picky about the with the quality of the fried chicken, but and then waffles.
You need good quality fried chicken.
So here's the only question. We have about a minute left here, so I just want to know. You guys can say in the chat, but Sean, is it square or circle waffles?
Square or circle waffles? I prefer the square.
See, I'm a square guy because it's like it's uniform.
I got some
OCD in me, and it's like you can cut it, and you get each individual square. The syrup goes in each square. With the circle, you get like different size.
Yeah, it's like the Eggo waffles are like the circle ones, right?
It's a square.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the square. Let's just check out quickly before we go. Let's check out what the imbalance is here on crypto. So we'll see here 630 votes. Thank you so much. But right now, no, we are not selling at all-time highs right now. So more likely holding on than selling. So that wins right here, and it's been a good one so far today as Bitcoin's up to 66.7.
That was very close.
So it's still going on. I mean, this will be. No will win now because of the number of votes, but very, very close. And congratulations, anybody that's been a holder of said coins, because we are starting to go to the upside one more time now. 66.7 right now. What a big move for Bitcoin, guys.
Yeah, monster move. I look over and it's like it's always a round number when I think this Binance is broken, man. Like I'm always looking at a round number or a bunch of sixes over there. But guess what? I promise you there'll probably be a little bit of crypto talk because that is what's moving today, but it's not the only thing, and that's why we're sending you right over to Trader Pratt and Miss V for Memes and Movers. Shout out to that Tesla trade.
Shout out to that Tesla trade, which we will talk about very soon. Welcome back to Memes and Movers. It is Wednesday, October 20th?
20th.
20, yeah. Welcome to Memes and Movers. Here's the beautiful Miss V.
Thank you, Prad. And yo, guys, welcome back.